Under 18, Fraser Saunder from Ballarat YCW and Owen Costin from Athletics Chilwell. Men's under 17, we have Liam McLennan from Doncaster. In the women's under 20 event, we have Charlotte Hay from Knox, Alana Piatt from Ballarat YCW and Grace Louis from Knox. In the women's under 18 competition, Jade Chitty from Western Athletics and Casey Smith, we welcome from New South Wales. And in the under 17 women, we have Kayla Dubovic from Ballerine. So they are the 11 starters in the combined 5,000 metre walk.
Just a spot to see how it is.
Don't you ever leave me, don't you ever go. I've seen it on TV, I know how it goes. Even when you're angry, even when I'm
So Corey Dixon leading the way. Will Thompson not far off the back of him. Alana Piatt in next position there. And then we have a Fraser Saunder as they start to settle down. I think McLennan next spot. Costin. Charlotte Hay next position. As we see, 12 and a half laps for this 5,000 metre walk. Try and keep you updated with split times.
Whether they've done it years previous and stuff like that. Where do they go at 143?
So about 143 there for the opening 400 metres for Dixon and Thompson. Piatt and Saunder in next position, then McLennan.
So this is the only walk event for the whole championship? Okay. Same thing on a Friday? Yeah. Oh yeah. Stinking hot. Yes. Yeah, we always seem to smash it pretty well on the walk. Number 6 or 8. Grace Louis, I think. 2152.
So Grace Louis just going through at 600 metres.
330.
So Jade Chitty with her, or just behind her. Casey Smith also there. And Kayla Dubovic in the Ballerine colours. So we look down towards the water jump area at the moment and we still see it's a 1-2 Dixon Thompson. And they will be coming down, approaching 900 metres at the moment. It'll be 1 kilometre as they do come through. That'll give us a very good indication of how they're moving in this 5,000 metre walk.
I think you and me both. Is that the one in second? Or third, but... Was she under 20?
So 4:23 thereabouts for our leaders. So moving very nicely. Piat also looking very good as she comes through with Saunder, her teammate. About 4:33, so about 10 seconds adrift. That shows you the difference on the track. That's 10 seconds between those two groups. So it's about 22, probably 22.50 pace thereabouts for Piat. As we see Dixon walking very strong out in the lead. McLennan next through the 1K, right just under that 5-minute mark, so it's just under 25-minute pace. And then Hay through next. Costin from Chilwell in the next position as our leaders approach the 3-lap mark. So 9 to go. No changes, front group or the chase pack. Will Thompson looking quite comfortable there, just sitting a little bit out to the shoulder of Dixon. Whereas as we see Piat and also Saunder coming through now. Piat leading through on the inside lane. Saunder just very content just to sit there in the slipstream. 9 to go. So it looks like Charlotte Hayes just taking a little bit of ground off McLennan at the moment. Costin next on the track, and then Louis. So I'd just like to introduce the co-commentator tonight, Mitch Dyer. Mitch, first time in a Victorian State Championships.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me, Tim. We're absolutely underway here as well with these 5,000 metre walks. So a great way to kick off the proceedings here for the State Championships weekend one, and a beautiful night for it as well, might I add.
Yeah, a little bit warm and blustery. I think the walkers might have preferred something after sundown, but they're pretty much used to this. But obviously one of our major event groups, the most successful event groups in Australia, are our walking community, and once again Victoria is sort of the centre of that. We're seeing some great names like Dixon, Thompson, Piat, Saunder out front at the moment. First time calling a walk, I think, for you, Mitch.
Yes, this will be the first time. Come from a family of race walking, so hopefully I'll be able to add a little bit of knowledge and excitement here as we see these two gentlemen just really working nicely with their cadences. Obviously no change of pace, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens later on, Tim.
I think they're approaching the 2 kilometre mark now too, Mitch, so they're just coming up to that as they go through. That'll be 5 laps down. So I think the pace is rather consistent, Mitch. They're going through in about 8:44 thereabouts, so this is very solid pace. Corey just has a quick look at the watch, and hopefully that says, yep, I'm on target here. Looking down about 100 and maybe 110 metres back, Alana and Fraser in those next positions, both walking very solidly. Liam and Charlotte next, and Liam, I think Charlotte is taking a little bit of a gap there on Liam, and I think moving out and possibly is going to make the passing move as they come past us with the 8 laps to go. So it's now 7 laps as they come down for our 2 leaders. No change in position, Mitch. What do you think's going through Will's mind at the moment?
Yeah, well, I think Will Thompson right now is just sitting beautifully right out on the shoulder. He seems to be in no rush whatsoever to be able to move around. So he has a little bit of look up at the commentary box. I might be right inside his head. So right now, Thompson, he's just sitting beautifully on the outside. But Dixon, he has controlled it. They've almost locked into each other's cadence at this rate. So Thompson probably getting the benefit of not having to think too much. So if he can make a move maybe with 2 laps to go, he might be able to move around. And we'll see what happens around the bend here. But yeah, he's looking incredibly comfortable, Tim.
But Corey's still technically going along very strong, isn't he? He's looking good, now nice and upright, moving well, as we see Alana and also Fraser coming in. They've just gone past Grace Louis. And they'll be getting 7 to go. So unfortunately we missed their 2K split. As we see the boys on the back straight going for the drink station and straight over the head. So a little bit in, but the rest of it over the head. It is warm out there. Hopefully wind's just easing a little bit. Still blustery though, Mitch.
Yeah, and it's interesting to go get the drinks break. Obviously, just then Thompson had to work a little bit harder to stay on the back of Dixon. So he's just gone straight on his hat. Not sure how much the water over the head would have helped just then, but Dixon incredibly comfortable, Thompson on the outside. And when you do move out wide, you hope that you do it together. Otherwise, the man who chooses not to get the water might be able to move a little bit further ahead, but they're still right on each other. And as you mentioned, Alana Pert, she's looking incredibly comfortable leading out this women's race. Her training partner potentially right behind her there, so they'll get the benefit too. And yeah, these 2 guys out in front, geez, you cannot separate them at all.
So Alana and Fraser opting not for the water. We'll try and keep an eye on that to see when they do go for the drink stop. As we see 6 laps to go. So 1 more lap and they'll be hitting the 3K mark. So they're deep into the territory here. So they're over halfway now. And I think it will be Peart and Saunders just approaching that halfway mark right now.
Yeah, and likewise with our 2 gentlemen out the front. Obviously, Peart has sort of remained just in front of her counterpart there behind her. So she too doesn't want to give up the lead. Looking incredibly comfortable as she comes down this front straight. But on the back straight, we're going to see right now it will be Will Thompson. He's going to go for the water again. So interesting to see what Corey Dixon does here. Does he put on a little burst while he's on the wide? And it doesn't look like he's going to quite be able to separate. So Thompson takes a little drink over his head and now might be able to tuck right back in there, Tim.
It was effortless when he went past the water stop too. He just picked up that cup and got it straight down. And he's looking like he wants to challenge, but just deciding to hold back that little bit further.
Yeah, well, it's a patience game here, obviously, in the 5,000. Going to come down and get 5 laps to go. Still a lot of race to be walked. So he seems to get right on the outside on the bend, and we'll see now whether it's the time to move. So he has moved, in fact. So right now we're going to see Will Thompson go around Corey Dixon, or right on his shoulder now. So he's going to do a bit of the work. We'll see whether or not Dixon can just tuck in nicely like Thompson's done previously to him, as we're going to get down to the 3K mark here, Tim, and now we start racing.
So Will Thompson has laid it down now. Dixon, you can just see the effort level rising there. So can he just stick on the back of the orange uniform? You're not going to lose that quickly on this blue track. But gee, Thompson's looking good, Mitch.
Yeah, he's starting to extend now, Tim. You went through in about 13.05 for that 3K, so they've stayed relatively consistent as well for those 3 kilometre splits. But yeah, he's just putting the foot down right now, Thompson. So he's going to ask a few questions here of Dixon. We'll see whether or not he can respond. That band hasn't been broken yet, but that lead now grows 2 metres to 10. So we'll see how that one starts to move along. So Pert now also coming around to this top of the home straight. So she's leading out beautifully here. Her stride's looking fantastic, immaculate even, as she now starts to make her way around some of the back markers here in this 5,000 metre event. But as we look our attention to the front of the field, and Thompson in this last 400 metres has put about 35 metres into Dixon. And so now he's starting to really move away nicely, Tim. So we bided his time, as we mentioned, and now we're starting to make him pay.
Yeah, so we're getting into the closing stages now with Piet and Saunder also through now the 3K mark. Just another reminder too to people in the crowd that we are trying to keep this as COVID safe as possible. So if you can't maintain the social distancing, please put on those masks. And that is both outdoors and indoors. So 4 to go. As you say, about a 35-metre gap then to Dixon. Saunder flowing very nicely. No change in that chase group. Sorry, Thompson moving well, but Saunder sitting behind Piet still. As you see, Heikler Dubovic going out for the water stop. Probably out to about 50 metres now, I think, Thompson to Dixon.
Yeah, and it looks like a perfectly executed race plan. He goes out for his third drink now, Will Thompson. So he's just going to grab that and keep on moseying on through. He's looking incredibly comfortable as he walks along the back straight there. Dixon, he did a lot of the work early and he's still being able to maintain a solid pace. So he's probably going to be on for a really good time. Obviously, that wind is starting to move away from him a little bit, with Thompson now extending that out to about 50, 60 metres. So he's certainly got his foot on the gas as he makes his way around some of the back markers here in the walk, Tim. And, geez, it has been a bit of a dominant performance over the last 800 metres.
You just see he, I think, wanted to go but was just holding back. And when he has launched, it might have been under coach's instructions, he certainly has gone through it. But the fluid form there of Will Thompson certainly holding him in good stead. Dixon's still moving nicely though, Mitch, so let's not, there's nothing against Corey Dixon. He's still going well, but Thompson's just sort of put the foot down and got that 50 to 60 metres up now as he comes down to get 3 laps to go.
So Alana Piet now just going to see Will Thompson come right past her. So Piet walking incredibly comfortably with her training partner, I'm presuming, there from the same club, as Thompson now moves around that lead, moving out to 80 metres. Dixon still doing a lot of fantastic work there. Form still looking solid, maybe gritting the teeth a little bit more there, but he's still looking incredibly comfortable in second place. We're going to have to watch around the track to see where this third placed athlete is. I believe it is our man from Doncaster. So he's around on the back straight as we see Thompson now making his way up to him. So it's been an incredibly solid performance here in the heat at Lakeside, but it is all Will Thompson at the front.
So just going through the 4 kilometre mark there, and about 17:08 there for the 4K for Thompson. Piet and Saunder went for the drinks together, and they're going through. They're 1 lap down as Corey Dixon now approaches that 4 kilometre mark. Looking back around the track, and I think it might be Charlotte Hay and also Liam McLennan. They've got Thompson just coming to the outside of them now. Then I think that's Jade Chitty just behind them. Grace Louie on the home straight at the moment.
And so it is pretty tough conditions out here right now as well, Tim. As you mentioned, they would probably rather do it in the darkness, but they've been given the hardest time slot of the day. And Will Thompson and the rest of this field are just making it look easy. I'm getting hot just watching it, so I can't imagine how they're going to be feeling. As Thompson now 800 metres to go, and he's extended that lead to a solid 100 metres. So with 800 metres to go, we're just going to have to see how fast he can do it. He obviously picked up about 15 seconds in that last kilometre, so his pace is absolutely elevated. Goes to show as well that Corey Dixon has not lost too much pace over this entire range as he gets to 4K as well. So this field looking incredibly consistent, and the man who seems to be leading at the helm is going to be Will Thompson.
Yeah, the only benefit we've got, Mitch, is that we can bump up the air conditioning. They can't do that outside. So Thompson goes out wide again. It's been a regular pattern for him, and it's working. He's just getting that coolness effect over the head, down the back of the neck. It can feel wonderful on the hot day. He'll be coming through to get the bell. So 600 out now for Thompson. He's got probably exactly 100 metre break now on a Dixon, who now goes past both Piet and Saunder, who are still locked together. I wonder if Fraser's just going to do the dash at the end there. Let's see what's your tip. I think he's going to do the dash a bit earlier. He just seems to have the nudge to go forward ahead of Alana at the moment.
Yeah, well, I think all these athletes must be listening because they seem to be able to move whenever we call it, Tim. But I think you're right. I think he is going to try and make that move earlier. So he's going to go right around Alana there. And interesting to see whether or not she'll be able to hold on. He's done a similar method to what Will Thompson did, except he's waited a little bit longer. He bided his time, and now he might be able to put his foot on that accelerator. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Alana will be able to latch onto the back of him there. But with 400 metres to go on the track, our Mornington Peninsula, Will Thompson, he's going to greet the bell at about 19:37. So he's moving beautifully right now. About 110 metres behind, I would say there, Tim, is Corey Dixon of Knox. So again, did a lot of the work early and still walking incredibly well. So Will Thompson, he's going to be the one with 350 metres to go. Corey Dixon behind him. And it's been a dominant performance here in the latter stages of this 5,000 metre walk.
So Saunder and Piet next on the track, but obviously one a lap down, and then another lap down will be Hay and also McLennan. So 1 to go now for Dixon. It'll be 2 to go for Saunder. I reckon Fraser will probably owe Alana a drink or two after this event. She did a lot of the hard work there early. So Alana's coming through. She's now got 2 to go. So for Hay and McLennan, that's 3 to go. Grace Louis, that's sort of losing track a little bit here. Might be 4 to go for Grace, but don't quote me on that one.
Yeah, well, I think you're right. I think Fraser's done the dirty here. He's waited and bided his time, and now he's absolutely put his foot on the accelerator. Not that there's anything wrong with an athlete doing that, but he has put about 30 metres there on Alana. So it'll be interesting to see their chats after the race. But with 100 metres to go, as he comes down this home straight for the last time, Will Thompson, Tim, looking incredibly comfortable. He's been able to gap that to about 140 metres now. So Will Thompson moves his way, or glides his way, I should say, out into lane 3, looking comfortable, shakes the arms out. He knows what he's doing. So Will Thompson, he's going to be the first one to win here in the men's 5,000 metre race walk. Well done to Will Thompson, looking incredibly comfortable as he salutes the crowd. The clock's going to tick over to about 21:13. So great racing there from Will Thompson. A little bit of a jog, flush those legs out past the finish line. Well done, Will Thompson. As we turn our attention now to the top of the straight, as we see our second place competitor in Corey Dixon of Knox. He's going to come down now and he's going to claim that silver medal, a well-deserved one. Did a lot of that work early, so he's going to get a reward for effort there. Well done to Corey Dixon as he comes down now, glides out into lane 3 as well. So the backwards hat, the sunnies are on, he's looking good. He's going to go home with a bit of silverware, so well done here to Corey Dixon, Tim. He's going to come down and he's done a lot of work.
Certainly has. So clock, he's going to be under the 22-minute mark. So great to see the crowd supporting these young athletes. Tough gig out there tonight. So just under the 22-minute mark there for Corey Dixon. And as you said, takes silver there in that under 20. Obviously subject to our judges' decisions. So Fraser, Saunder. Now moving out by about 30 metres over to Alana Piet. Obviously they're in different genders and different age groups. But the first of our Ballarat YCW walkers is through getting the bell. And Alana will hear that lovely sound as she comes through now. Just moving around, Kayla Heikler-Dubovic from Ballerine.
Yes, and so obviously they're both also leading their age categories as well. So the under-18 men being led there by Fraser Saunder, and so too the under-20 women being led by Alana. So great racing there from Ballarat YCW. They obviously worked extremely well together through the early stages, even the mid stages of the race, but it is Fraser Saunder now with 300 to go.
So Hay and McLennan have been together a lot of this journey as well. So Liam led it out and then Charlotte just nudged away in front, and Liam's been very content just to let her lead the way through these mid to latter stages. So they're both walking very competently at the moment, Mitch. As we see Owen Costin coming through now. And then it will be the young lady from Western Athletics in the under 18s, and that is Jade Chitty.
So less than 200 metres to travel now for Fraser Saunder of Ballarat YCW. So he has glided away here in the last two laps of the race, you would say, with about 110 metres to go. He knows he's going to come down and obviously subject to the officials, maybe claim a gold medal here in the men's under 18 5,000 metre race walk. So if you are around the track, do show enthusiasm, as we do see Fraser Saunder of Ballarat YCW come down, move out into lane 3. And a dominant performance over the last 2 laps, as I mentioned. So Fraser Saunder looking comfortable. He's going to come down and claim a gold medal. So too will Alana Piet
So just ticking to 24 minutes, Mitch. Probably a time both you and I would be happy with at Parkrun at the moment, but under these hard conditions, Fraser Saunders stops the clock around that 24:10. Let's get behind Alana now as she comes through. Regular on the race walking circuit here. Great performer from the Ballarat region. And Alana Peart will be our first female to cross the line, and she will take, subject to the judges, the victory there in the under-20s. So tough night, as we said. 24:30, just ticking over now. So great walking there, Alana Peart. Fraser's waiting for her at the end, and she says, "You owe me a drink, buddy." So Hay and also McLennan coming through. I think they'll be on the one. Yes, they're getting the bell now, so they'll be very happy to hear that sound.
Yeah, so 400 metres to go, and great work there from Will Thompson as well, handing out drinks to the competitors who have just finished after they've crossed the line. So good to see the camaraderie amongst the race walkers there. They know how tough it is out there, and geez, I don't think anyone ever did that for me whilst I was running. So great work there from Will Thompson. As we start to see these athletes now, some will greet the bell, some may have 2-3 laps to go. And it's been a tough night of racing, but a great night to kick it off. So we see now a little move on the back straight, Tim. So it seems to be a consistent theme. Everyone seems to bide their time and then start to move late.
Yeah, so Liam McLennan just getting ahead of Charlotte Hay there as they go down the back straight for the last time. So moving back through, we can see Kayla Heikler, Dubovic, then Owen Costin. Then we've got Casey Smith from New South Wales. Grace Lewis still out there. Jade Chitty is coming through now. So just another reminder too, if everyone could be conscious of the COVID-safe regulations around Lakeside Stadium this afternoon and through to this evening, that if you are unable to maintain social distancing, please don your masks.
So less than 100 metres to go. Liam McLennan now of Doncaster. He's going to come down and he will take out, obviously subject to the judges, the under-17 event of the men's 5,000 metre race walk. So great racing there from Liam McLennan. And do make him feel loved as he goes through the finish line there. So well done to Liam McLennan. So too behind him there, we do see Charlotte Hay. So she will be coming through for a silver medal here in the women's under 25,000 metres. So well done to Charlotte Hay. Did a lot of the work in front of Will there. And so she's going to see a reward for effort.
So Owen Costin moving out to lane 3, just drifting across to finish. So the young Chilwell Walker, time check 27:30 at the moment. Gee, it's a long time to be out there in the warm weather, isn't it, Mitch?
Oh yeah, they're a lot tougher than you and I, Tim. I can tell you that much for free, as these race walkers endure the tough conditions, but they are going to see a reward for effort. So well done there to Owen Costin. A great effort there out in the heat. As we see the rest of our competitors, some may be getting the bell as they come through around on this lap.
And I think the next one of those will be Grace Louis. You see her in the Knox uniform coming down now. I think it could be bell lap for her. So the New South Wales walker there, Casey Smith. She's also into this home straight. So bell for Grace Louis. I think Heikler Dubovic maybe 2 laps to go, possibly 3. We'll just keep an eye on that one. As Casey Smith comes through now. So she'll probably have 2 to go, I believe. And Jade Chitty now coming into the home straight. And we'll just see if the hand goes onto the bell or the 2 fingers come out.
So it's been a good performance for these ladies. Obviously here with the walk as well, you do have other groups coming past you and moving by, so you do have to learn to find your own pace, which is incredibly difficult, but Louie's done it incredibly well there as she comes onto the back straight, 300 metres to go. So the rest of these ladies on the track right now, they've been out there for 29 minutes currently, and so they are doing it incredibly well here in the heat of Melbourne at Lakeside. So bell lap now, we also see Jade Chitty get the bell for the women's under 18 5,000 metres. So she has 400 metres to go. With 250 though, it is Grace Louie on the back straight. So as she starts to stride, Tim, and she's still looking incredibly comfortable with 200 metres to go as well.
Certainly is, still maintaining very good form, is Grace Louie. As we look back and we see also Smith and Chitty not too far to go. Michael Dubovic, I think, will have at least another lap after that to go. So we'll expect the crowd to be getting behind her, the young lady, in the under-17 competition.
And one of the great last names in athletics, I would say there, Tim. That's an absolute mouthful. I'm glad you're saying it and not me. So as we see Grace Louie now, she comes around with about 110 metres to go. So she'll make her way out into lane 3 here at Lakeside Stadium. Fantastic to be back here as well. Calling some athletics for the state championships. There's 30 minutes and 13 seconds. Comes over the clock. So Grace Louie, she moves out here into lane 3. A great effort here, looking incredibly comfortable. Obviously, form is crucial in the race walk, and she's been able to maintain it and look fantastic in the process. So have a round of applause here, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of people in front of me here. We want to see a lot of hands clapping for Grace Louie as she comes down, 50 metres to go. She will dip under that 31-minute mark. So fantastic racing there from our Knox athlete and Grace Louie. As we see some of our athletes here, Tim, I think our New South Wales athlete's going to come down and get the bell. So one of the greatest sounds you will hear as a distance athlete on the athletics track is the bell. So Casey Smith in the yellow colours, so too. You take it away here, Tim.
Jade Chitty coming down, Western Athletics. Currently doing very well in the HH Hunter Shield. I'll reveal those scores a little bit later. But Jade Chitty, she's going to take victory here, once again subject to the judges in the under 18 competition.
So in our women's under-17 shot put, our top 3 athletes to finish there. Fantastic work from Scary of Sandringham, winning the event with a put of 14.22 metres. Keegan of Athletics Nunawading there in second place with a put of 11.74, and only 4 centimetres behind her there from Box Hill was Ni Huen Hughes with 11.70 out there in the women's under-17 shot put event.
So unfortunately we did see the red card coming out there for Michael Dubovic as we now get behind Smith, last of the competitors on the track here in this 5,000 metre walk. Smith from New South Wales, finisher there in this 5,000 metre walk in the combined age groups. Presentations will take place shortly, and we will be throwing to Ross Cunningham to perform those duties. Mitch Dyer is going to head out into the field shortly, and we'll try and give a little bit of field coverage and some updates. So at the conclusion of the 5,000 metre walk, we will be going to the 400 metres, starting with the open women's heats. But I will throw down to Ross Cunningham with the first of our presentations.
Thanks, Tim. It is good to be back. So the first presentation of the Victorian Track and Field Championships of 2021 is the Under-17 Women's Shot Put. And receiving the bronze medal with a putt of 11 metres 70 from Box Hill, Holly Niebenhausen. And receiving the silver medal with a putt of 11 metres 74 from Athletics Nunawading, Elise Keegan. And our under-17 gold medalist, 2021 champion, with a throw of 14 metres 22 from Sandringham Athletic Club, Mia Skerry. So big congratulations to all three athletes there in the under-17 women's shot put.
Thank you, Ross, and congratulations to the three girls.
So before we turn back to the track, the next presentation on the infield is for the under 14 men's triple jump. And receiving the bronze medal with a jump of 8 metres 21 from Albury Athletics, Harrison Carty. And receiving the silver medal with a jump of 10 metres 4 from Sandringham Athletic Club, R.K. Butler. And our under 14 men's gold medalist in the triple jump with a jump of 11 metres 11 from Athletics Chilwell, Guy Williams. So a big hand for all medalists in the under 14 men's triple jump.
So let's introduce the field of first of our 400 metre open heats for women. The top 3 in each heat plus the next 4 best times will proceed. In lane 1 from Collingwood Harriers, Maria Carl. 2 from Athletics Nunawading, Nicole Pennings. 3 from Oldsavarians, Monica Clark. In 4 from Melbourne University, Marley Wilkinson. In 5 from Sandringham, it's Elizabeth Dingledye. In 6, also Sandringham, Anna Plessinger. In 7 from Frankston Athletic Club, Lucy Romanoff, and in 8 from Eaglehawk, it is Juliet Healy.
On your marks. Set.
Cleanly away here in the first of these 400 metres. Plessinger and Romanov out nicely. Just to the inside there is a Wilkinson. Clark moving nicely as well. Then a bit of a gap back to Pennings. But it looks like it might be Dingledye, I think, we're working very well around the bend. So hitting the 200 first. Clark moving better on the inside as well. Wilkinson in the Melbourne University colours. She's battling on nicely. Top 3 to go through automatically. The next 4 best times. So it is Dingledye leading at the moment in the Sandringham colours. Wilkinson will be strong. Good background this one, but it will be Dingledye leading. Plessinger coming home strongly. She's going to claim one of those auto spots as Clark fades back. But it'll be Dingledye. I think Plessinger will take next spot. Wilkinson third. Then Clark will have to wait on times. Pennings next. Then we've got Romanoff. To the inside there is Kale. And also Healy. So that's the first of our 4 preliminary heats of the Women's Open 400.
So Tim down here at our men's under 17 hammer throw. We do have Elia of Athletics Essendon currently leading. Putting it out there about 56 metres. So these boys are absolutely throwing it. As we'll come over here and check in at our ladies high jump and give you an update as we go along.
Thanks, Mitch. We'll now go back to the 400-metre action. We've got the second of our 4 heats of the Women's Open 400. So top 3, then next best 4 times to go through. In lane 2, representing Athletics Nunawading, Monique LaRose. In 3, from Glen Huntly, Emily McLean. In lane 4, from Mornington Peninsula, it's Alexia Lazou. In 5, from Geelong Guild, Tess Kersop-Cole. In 6, from Ringwood Athletic Club, Jessica Payne. In 7, from Old Zavarians, Savannah Nowak. And in lane 8, from Frankston Athletic Club, it is Kelsey Barrett. So they are the 7 starters, heat 2 of 4, Women's Open 400. So reasonably even start there. Payne from Ringwood looking very strong early. Also Lazou from a Mornington Peninsula in the inner lanes. Already taken Kersop-Cole, who we saw step out over 800 last week at Miles Club. But gee, Alexia Lazou doing a lot of work on the pro circuit, and boy, she's looking very solid as she goes through the 200. Probably just starting to switch off a little. So Payne to the outside, Kersop-Cole working through nicely. McLean also from Glen Huntly starting to come through the field. So top 3 to go through automatically. McLean's now got a bit of a chase to do to try and catch Payne from Ringwood in the outside in those pink socks. But Alexia Lazou looked very, very solid down that back straight. Just starting to switch off a little bit here. She's got about the 5 to 6 metre gap over Kersop-Cole, who's still battling on. Looks like Payne will take that third and auto spot. McLean will yet again have to wait for the times. And then to the outside there, it is Nowak, followed by Barrett, and on the inside, LaRose. So there are our finishes there in the second of our 4 heats of the Women's 400.
Presentation now for the under-20 men's 5,000 metre race walk, and receiving the silver medal with a time of 21:54.96 from Knox Athletic Club, Corey Dixon. And receiving the gold medal with a time of 21:14.45 from Mornington Peninsula, Will Thompson. So a big hand there for our under-20 men's 5,000 metre race walk.
So you see our ladies under 20 high jump currently jumping at 1:55. So these ladies here now starting to move up through the heights. I believe we do have 5 competitors still remaining. So plenty happening in the field here with our women's 400 heats still going on.
Thanks, Mitch. And let's call the field here in the third of our 4 heats of the Women's Open 400 metres. In lane 2, representing Doncaster, it's Nicole Reynolds. Lane 3 from Casey Cadinia, Carmen De Bruin. In 4 from Williamstown, Daniela Roman. In 5 from Deakin Athletic Club, Lily Bays. In 6 from Box Hill, Sophia Davis. In 7 from Melbourne University, Elena Gilden. And in 8 from Geelong Guild, Sarah Riddell.
Set.
So Roman away well. To the inside of her it is De Bruin, to the outside of Bays. Bays also moving nicely in the early stages. Gilden in the outer lanes going well as they hit the back straight. So it's Roman and Bays to the outside. They seem to be the two leaders as they start to settle. So Roman just tracking alongside Bays now. Gilden on the outside hasn't got much to look at, but as she comes around she'll feel those bodies coming closer, 200 out. So it's Roman very controlled at the moment. Top three to go through automatically. And at the moment that would be definitely Roman and Bays. On the inside there, I think De Bruin's starting to work her way through into that mix as well. So Roman into the home straight now. Looking pretty much in control. Bays coming at her. De Bruin right up there as well, but definitely a clear bunch of three there. The inside there, Reynolds probably in next spot. So De Bruin's actually going to take the win here. So Carmen De Bruin will come through for Casey Cardinia. She'll take the win. Then Roman, Bays, Reynolds next. And then I think that would have been Davis coming through for Box Hill. So that's the third of our 4 women's heats. So just a reminder, keep in touch with all the results via Results Hub. So they will be getting the live results up very quickly, and we'll hopefully see those qualifiers fairly soon for the women's 400 after the conclusion of this heat.
So the next presentation is for the under-20 women's 5,000 metre race walk, and receiving the bronze medal with a time of 27:48.19 from Knox Athletic Club, Grace Louie. And receiving the silver medal with a time of 26:58.91, also from Knox Athletic Club, Charlotte Hay. And our under-20 women gold medalist with a time of 24:33.32 from Ballarat YCW, Alana Pert. So a big hand and congratulations there to all our medalists so far. And today's first day of the Victorian Track and Field Championships for weekend 1. Just also a reminder, we are still under COVID safe practices, so if you cannot maintain 1.5 metre social distancing, you must wear a face mask. So we have been given permission to apply through Victorian Government, and this is why our event is going ahead this weekend, so please make sure you do comply and you maintain your social distance.
Thanks, Ross. We now go to Heat 4 of 4, Women's Open 400. And our 7 starters are in lane 2 from Doncaster, it's Stephanie Larkin. From Sandringham, in lane 3, we have Bridget Nidek. In 4, from Collingwood Harriers, Kendra Hubbard. In 5, from Athletics Essendon, Alana Grandine. In 6, from Glen Huntly, Claudia Carter. In 7, from Oldsavarians, Megan Dean. And in 8, from Glen Huntly, Madeline Paris. There are 7 starters, Heat 4 of 4, Women's Open 400 metres. So Hubbard, the first one to make a bit of a move as they go around that first bend and enter the back straight for the first time. To the inside of her, Nidek also moving very well. So Hubbard, Nidek, Grandine, I think, in the mix as well as they head towards the 200 metres mark. Just to the back of them is Carter. So Larkin on the inner lane there. She's starting to wind herself up, but it is Kendra Hubbard from Collingwood Harriers leading the way at the moment. Grandine moving quite nicely to the inside of her and a few lanes in there in Nidek from Sandringham. So they're the top 3. Carter now has that chase. As mentioned, it is Larkin who's really winding it up there in the inner lanes there in lane 2. But Kendra Hubbard showing plenty of class here, plenty of experience, the Collingwood Harrier. She'll move through here. She'll take that auto spot. So too will Alana Grandine. G. Carter's coming home strong, but we'll have to wait on time because it was Nidek finishing in that third place. Larkin there in fifth. To the outer lanes there was Dean, and then Paris will take the next slot there. In the 4 heats of our women's 400 metres open. So as mentioned, check out the results on Results Hub and we'll find out who proceeds through.
So medal presentation now for the under-18 women's 5,000 metre race walk, and receiving the silver medal with a time of 34:11.79 from New South Wales, Casey Smith. And we welcome Casey to the Victorian Track and Field Championships, and receiving the gold medal with a time of 31:52.35 from Western Athletics, Jade Chitty. So big congratulations there to Jade and Casey in the under-18 women's 5,000 metre race walk.
Yeah, just give us an update on where the button. So as we can see, the results are already through there for the 400 metres. I think they're all filtering through.
So down here at our women's under 20 high jump, we do see the remaining competitors here having a go at the 1:60 mark here. So if you are around the track and you are looking for something to watch, it is great jumping down here for the women's under 20 high jump. 160 currently this bar sitting at.
So next presentation now is for the under-17 men's 5,000 metre race walk, and one competitor in this event with a time of 26:48.14, collecting the gold medal from Doncaster Athletics Club, Liam McLennan. So big congratulations there to Liam. We'll shortly get underway with the under-18 presentation for the men's 5,000 metre race walk. So next up on the podium is the under-18 men's 5,000 metre race walk, and receiving the silver medal with a time of 27:47.28 from Athletics Chilwell, Owen Costin.
When did I call you? Baxter. Look at the rest of it. I don't have a single call.
And receiving the gold medal with a time of 24:11 from Ballarat YCW, Fraser Sonder.
I didn't get a single one.
So a big hand for our under-18 medalists. Also to our under-20 and under-17 race walkers in the 5,000 metres.
No.
So just once again, another announcement regarding the COVID-safe policies of Lakeside Stadium, that if you are in a grouping within the grandstand and you can't socially distance by 1.5 metres, please put on your mask. Okay, so masks are mandatory in situations where you're not 1.5 metres distant and you're not with regular contacts or family members. So we can now see the results of the women's 400 hurdles, and those proceeding through to the next round will be from heat number 1, Diggle from Sandringham, also Plessinger, Sandringham and Wilkinson were auto, and on a fastest time Monica Clark will go through. In heat number 2, Wazoo from Mornington Peninsula, Kersop College, Long Guild and Payne from Ringwood were auto. And 2 from will get through on time. They are Emily McLean and Savannah Nowak. From heat 3, it'll be the first 3, and they are Carmen de Bruin, Daniela Roman and Lily Bays. And in heat 4, Kendra Hubbard, Alana Grandine, Bridget Nidek auto qualify, and Claudia Carter will get through on time. So they will be proceeding through to the next round, the semis of the Women's Open 400. So track action now moves to the men's open 400 metres, and there will be 4 heats which will proceed through to the semis. Top 3 in each heat plus the next 4 best times will proceed through. In heat 1 of 4, we have in lane 2 from Athletics Nunawading, Darcy Hughes. In 3 from Doncaster, Conrad Kumaris. In 4 from Athletics Essendon, Cameron Searle. In 5 from Glen Huntley, it's Cameron de Bruin. 6 from St Kevin's, Phil Borg. And in 7 from Mentone Athletic Club, Geordie Hoare. So there are our 6 starters in heat 1 of 4 of the men's Open 400.
On your marks. Set.
So nice even start here. De Bruin going well, Searle just behind him, and then Kumaris. Also out early is Borg from St Kevin's, but it looks like De Bruin and also Searle moving nicely through those 180 mark and approaching the 200 now. So Searle to the inside of De Bruin in the Essendon colours. I think he's in the lead. Kumaris has got a little bit of work to do. Borg trying to go with them in the St Kevin's colours. To the outside there is Hoare from Mentone. But Cameron Searle looking solid coming in to the home straight. So it is Kumaris to the inside, Borg to the outside. De Bruin just tiring now. Hughes from Nunawading coming through strongly. But the one will be Searle, Kumaris, then Borg. They'll take the auto spots. Close then, it could have been Hughes just over the top of De Bruin late there to take the 4th spot and the first of our 4 heats of the men's Open 400.
So in our women's under 20 high jump, we have 3 ladies still jumping here with 163 on the bar. So still 3 ladies competing here for a gold medal in the under 20 women's high jump in between these men's Open 400 metre heats.
So just before we go back to the track, the presentation on the infield now for the under 17 men's hammer throw, and receiving the bronze medal with a throw of 44 metres 71 from Eureka, Ben Locke. And receiving the silver medal with a throw of 46 metres from Carayo, Darcy Giddens. And our gold medalist with a throw of 62 metres 31 from Athletics Essendon, Kevin Healy. So a big hand for our under 17 men's medalists in the hammer throw.
So introducing the field now for the second of our 4 heats in the men's Open 400 metres. In lane 2, representing Old Scotch, it is Chris Papapetru. In 3, from Geelong Guild, Harvey Morant. 4, from Old Melburnians, Ross Hine. 5, from Essendon, it's Marcus Guglielmino. In 6, also from Athletics Essendon, Vishnu Satish. In 7, from Melbourne University, Christian Painter. And in 8, also Melbourne University, is Muhammad Shaheem Muhammad Sarjahan.
On your marks. Set.
So the multi-eventer Painter off to a very good start. We'd expect Guglielmino and also Sardis, the Essendon runners, to start winding up. Also Hine, Harvey Morant, the Geelong Guild hurdler. He's looking solid too to the inside there. Papapetru and also Muhammad to the outside. But Hine in the Melbourne Old Melburnians uniform. Also Guglielmino. They are the leaders as they come through. Morant really starting to wind up now in the Geelong Guild uniform. But it is Ross Hine, Old Melburnians leading the way. Top 3 to go through automatically, so that means the boys are just starting to wind off a little bit. Papapetru and also Vishnu Satish in next position, but Hine takes it. Morant comes through brilliantly. Guglielmino will take next. Papapetru is going to have to wait on time. So too Satish. Then we have Painter and Muhammad who will round out the field here in the second of our 4 heats of the men's Open 400.
Presentation now for the under-18 men's hammer throw, and receiving the silver medal with a throw of 54 metres 06 from Doncaster Athletics Club, Owen Rice. And receiving the gold medal with a throw of 58 metres 02 from Mentone Athletics Club, Morney Nell. So a big hand for our under-18 men's hammer throwers.
Heat 3 of 4 men's open 400 metres, and we have 7 starters, and they are in lane 2 from Athletics Nunawading, Corey Robinson. In 3 from Doncaster, Daniel Minns. In 4 also Doncaster, Kevin Rasool. In 5 from Geelong Guild, Finlay Kersop Cole. In 6 from Doncaster, Tristan Robinson. In 7 from Knox Athletic Club, Craig Fairburn. And in 8 from Box Hill, Robert Mayston. So 7 starters, Heat 3 of 4 men's open 400.
On your marks. Set.
So on the inside there, Robinson off to a good start, but it's Rasool who's really launched out of the blocks nicely. So Kevin Rasool, to the outside of him, it's Robinson as well. So moving nicely at the moment. So the Doncaster runners are looking strong. Splitting them is Kersop Cole from Geelong Guild. So they're our top 3, and Kersop Cole makes the big move, hitting the 200 there. So Finlay Kersop Cole stretching them out, coming around the bend the last time. And Kersop Cole will just probably take the foot off the gas. The next 2 have to watch out, though, because it is Minns from Doncaster coming through. It's going to be Doncaster 2, 3, 4, but the order's going to be of interest here. Kersop Cole will take the win. Rasool will be next. Minns in the next position. Then a Robinson. The inside there is the other Robinson. Fairburn to the outside. And the Masters athlete, Robert Mayston, coming through. And he'll be just on the minute mark there. So that's here 3 of 4 of the men's open 400. And just another call out too, that we do require the crowd to be observing social distancing, and if not, masks are mandatory. We don't want to go to the full mandatory masks, but we're nearly getting to that point with the reports coming through. So at this point in time, masks not mandatory, but we may go to that position if people do not observe social distancing.
So 2 ladies still jumping down here in the women's under 20 high jump, 166 currently for. So 2 ladies still jumping in the under 20 women's high jump event.
Introducing the field now for the final of our men's open 400 metre heats. We have 7 starters. In lane 2 from Athletics Essendon, Chris Lim. In 3 from St Kevin's, Connor Fry. In 4 from Glen Huntly, it's Will Johns. In 5 from Melbourne University, Brian Wilson. In 6 from Geelong Guild, Joshua Perdrissat. In 7 from Box Hill, Harry Blackburn. And in 8 from New South Wales, we welcome Chris Liverizzi.
Set.
So good start there, Will Johns. To the inside of him, it is Connor Fry, more renowned for getting over the barriers, but Johns starting to straighten up nicely. Perdrissat also moving well from Geelong Guild, but it's all Will Johns at the moment, moving down the back straight. Going nicely is Connor Fry, starting to really pick it up now and approaching probably Johns on the stagger now as they start to move through the 200, working around the bend. Perdrissat now having Johns coming up alongside him, giving them something to work towards. So Johns leads it. Connor Fry looking good. The Melbourne University runner there, Wilson, also in contention. But top 3 at the moment is Johns. Fry just poking over the shoulder. To the outside now, it's Liverizzi, the New South Wales runner, trying to run into that auto spot. But Johns will take it. Fry, Perdrissat, Liverizzi in next. Gap then to Wilson. To the outside then Blackburn. And Chris Lim rounds out the field in the men's 400 metre heats. So after the 400s, we will be moving to 1500 metre action on the track. Mitch is just going to wander down and check out some of the field action as well and try to give us some updates. The first event for the 15s will be the final of the women's under 14s. So the first of our 1500 metre finals is on the line, ready to go. We do have 9 starters in the women's under 14 1500 metres. In station 1, representing Williamstown, Piper Gay. In 2, from Western Athletics, Ella Vrahovic. In 3, from Collingwood Harriers, Nikki Semidsidis. In 4, from Doncaster, Lucy Kearney. In 5, from Western Athletics, Elizabeth Hall. In 6, from Collingwood Harriers, Natasha Gertler. In 7, from Western Athletics, Lucy Cleveland. In 8, from Mentone, Noah Sarup. And in 9, from Doncaster, Lily Purcell. There are 9 starters in the final of the women's under 14 1500 metres. So a good start here to this under 14 race. We will try and get the hip numbers as they come around. That's definitely Sarup sitting there in a second position. So Vrahovac, Western Athletics leads it. Piper Gay also there from Williamstown. She's in that third position. The outer lane there, just Lucy Kearney just drifting back in again. But Ella Vrahovac going through. We'll get a time check as she goes through the start there. So, gee, on about 4:30 pace. That was a rapid start there for Vrahovac. Victorian record for this event, 4:22.74, set in 1998 by Georgie Clark from a Deakin. But Ella Vrahovac off to a very good start here and set the pace nicely. So the field now starting to bridge that gap though as they go through 500 metres. So 1K to go. So the Collingwood Harriers runner then moving into the next position. I'm trying to pick up which one it is. We've got 2 Gertler and also Semsidis. So Vrahovac still leads it coming through to get 2 laps to go. So it is Gertler, the Collingwood Harrier in next position, then Sarup. Then we have Piper Gay. So it's Gertler moving nicely, just trailing off the back of Vrahovac at the moment as they go through the 800 mark. So pace has dropped a bit, 2:35 through the 800. So as expected, the second lap just that little bit slower after a fairly rapid first lap. But Vrahovac still leads it. Sarup looking comfortable in third with Piper Gay just off the back of her. So Vrovac, Gertler. No real change in position. Sarup in next position after her with Gay just off the back of her. So Gertler content just to sit off the back at the moment. They're going to come through to get one lap to go, and she's starting to make a bit of a move. So Vrovac's led all the way. Got off to a very fast start, but still maintaining the lead. So loosely Cleveland now also coming into that lead bunch of 5, the second of the Western Athletics girls, as it really starts to bunch up here. Sarup looking quite comfortable there in third. Piper Gay also with her. So lots happening now. So Sarup starting to make a bit of a move down that back straight. Gertler's just starting to drift back through. Piper Gay also in the mix, but Cleveland's the one who's making the big moves as well. So coming around, less than 200 to go. Vrhovac's run very strongly here. Impressive performance here, but I think Cleveland's the one who's going to mount the challenge as they come into the home straight the last time. Vrhovac's been impressive. Race in 3 here. Noah Sarup also in. She just accelerates, goes past Vrhovac for the first time, and Noah Sarup will take this out. I think Cleveland just might come over a teammate. She'll take second. The bronze will go to the very brave Vrhovac. Piper Gay next position. Good running there for Gertler. Gave it every shot she had. She'll take 5th. And looking down the track now, Elizabeth Hall from Western A's. She'll be next in. So, sorry, Purcell there. Couldn't really read that hip number. Purcell in next position. Her teammate there in Kearney in next, and Samitas from Collingwood. Let's get behind her as she finishes this 1,500 metres for the under 14. So Nikki Samitas, she'll round it out, and that's the conclusion of our field here. So let's now introduce the field for the men's under 14, 1,500 metres, and there are 14 starters. Station 1 from Athletics Essendon, Jonathan Neathling. In 2 from Old Melburnians, Angus Ashworth. In 3 from Sandringham, Ethan Miller. In 4 from Ballarat Harriers, Oakley Burge. In 5 from Chilwell, Angus Thomas. In 6 from Albury Athletics, Alec Fransky. 7 from Williamstown, Finn Kane. In 8 from Keelos and Birders, Ethan Bloss. In 9 from Old Scotch, Bart Leeton. In 10 from Athletics Nunawading, Oscar Wright. In 11 from Collingwood Harriers, Finlay McCready. In 12 from St Kevin's, Ben Forster. In 13 from Chilwell, it's Xander Zurawell. And in 14 from Doncaster, Aidan Marasco. They're the 14 starters in the men's under 14 1,500 metre final.
They take it well.
Gun is ready?
Yeah, go.
On your marks.
So it's a big field and a good quality field here. Neathling on the inside was one out early. You would expect Fransky perhaps from Albury to do a bit of leading. Also, Bart Leeton is a natural at getting out and going fast, and that's exactly what's happening here. The old Scotch collegian Bart Leeton does love to lead. Broke a Victorian record in this event not so long ago at Glen Huntly, and Bart Leeton is going for it and saying to the rest of the guys, just chase me and see if you can follow. Forster's in next position. Then from Old Melburnians, that is Angus Ashworth. Fransky in next spot. Neathling next. Some good talent here in this event. And Bart Leeton is just saying, I'm going for it, and who wants to come with me? Forster probably about 5 to 10 metres back. Ashworth next, and the pace is on. It's going to be very interesting to see this first split. I reckon they're on sub 4 minute 1500 pace, and they are. So Leighton, he has just ripped them apart in this 1500. It's going to be interesting to see what will transpire, because he's certainly making the boys work hard just to go in the slipstream here. So Bart Leighton still looking good. He's approaching 600 metres in to this 1500 metre journey. He's out by about 15 metres at the moment. Another 20 metres from Forster, then back to Ashworth. Fransky just happy to sit behind Angus Ashworth at the moment. As we see Bart Leighton coming through, he will get 2 laps to go.
So we'll just turn our attention back to the infield. The presentation now for the under-20 women's high jump, and receiving the bronze medal with a jump of 1.60 m from Doncaster Athletics Club, Alana Mirish. And receiving the silver medal with a jump of 1.63 m from Athletics Essendon, Maeve Bowsey. And our gold medalist in the under-20 women's high jump with a jump of 1.63 m from Glen Huntly Athletics Club, Noah Kaino. So a big hand there for Noah, for Maeve and Alana, and the under-20 women's high jump. We'll hand you back across to Tim and Mitch in the commentary box.
Thanks, Ross. Let's get back to this action. Mitch, what do you think about Bart Leighton? He is going for it.
Yeah, well, Timmy's been pretty consistent across the year at Victorian Milers Club, and Bart Leighton right now has put his foot on the gas and never even looked at the brake. So 420 metres to go for Leighton. He's going to hit the bell, 3:05 on the clock. So this is an absolute spectacle you're witnessing right now, ladies and gentlemen. He's put absolute distance on them from the gun, Tim. As these boys now get the bell, it's Bart Leighton showing them a masterclass.
I think we might be seeing a Victorian record run here. Oh, sorry, the Victoria record's 4:11. We won't see that, but certainly Leighton is putting his foot down here, and this is one of the fastest times we would have seen in the under-14 1500 for a long time. So let's get behind Leighton, plus the other competitors. Forster's still in next position. Really good battle for the bronze medal here, and it's Fransky from Albury. We've seen this guy's got plenty of pluck. He's trying to challenge Ashworth, Niefling to the back of him. So Fransky made his move, but couldn't go past, but it's Niefling now who moves into third position ahead of Ashworth, and Fransky goes again. So out front, let's get behind Bart Leighton. Time check now, 3:55. This is going to be quick. 4:11.40 is the Victorian record. 4:11.40, set in 1976. So let's get behind Leighton. He probably might not make it, but this is impressive running. Time check now, 4:11. That's oh so close. Bart Leighton, fantastic running. Forster, not to be outdone, would win most under 14 1500s if this time. And look at the battle for bronze. It is on. Fransky, Niefling, 2 guys with plenty of heart. Forster silver, Fransky bronze, Niefling the unfortunate 4th. Ashworth did so much hard work. He'll take 5th. Crikey, I've been so excited over an under 14 1500 in a long time. So coming through there is Miller. Also with him was the Williamstown runner in Finn Kane. These are all good names, all great runners. And it's right for Nunawading next. But gee, we nearly saw a, how long's that? Nearly 50-year-old record taken, and potentially that might be in the sights of Bart Leighton when he goes to Nationals. So next one through there, Angus Thomas. Also Marasco, Burge from Harriers. The other Chilwell runner there in Zurawell. Crossing now, that's McCready from Collingwood. And Ethan Bloss, final finisher there in the men's very exciting under 14 1500. So next event on the track will be the final of the women's under 1500 metres. 10 starters in Station 1 from Mornington Peninsula, Kyla Swallow. In 2 from Box Hill, Cushy Diol. In 3 from Ballarat YCW, Alicia Buckland. In 4 from Box Hill, Annabelle Smith. In 5 from Coburg Harriers, Alicia Federico. In 6 from Sandringham, Orla Shackloff. 7 from Mornington Peninsula, Imogen Baker. In 8 from Doncaster, Rachel White. In 9 from Coburg Harriers, Poppy O'Loughlin. And in 10 from Diamond Valley, Ali Brooks. 10 starters in the final of the women's under 1500 metres.
On your marks.
So I'd expect White to probably take the lead here. She does like to get out early, the young girl from Doncaster, and she is doing just that at the moment. On the inside there, just trying to work out who that might be is going with her. Could be Buckland potentially. So fading light here at Lakeside. Wind seems to be just easing that little bit here, and air temperature going down a bit. So good conditions, or relatively good for the 1500 at the moment. So the pace just drops now. So a bit of a change from the previous race where it was just eyeballs out right from the start. But the girls just bunching nicely here and driving forward with some good pace. White just deciding to sit one out, one back at the moment. And it is Orla Shackloff, the one who's leading. To the outside there, I think that's Ali Brooks from Diamond Valley. So Swallow content to sit at the back with Diol at the moment. Baker moving away around the outside. The Coburg runner there, Federico, stuck right in the middle at the moment. So nicely bunched. Fairly good pace to start off. They're going to go through in about 76. And White decides it's time to go. Sat in for a lap. We usually see this on the first lap, not the second. But it's White starting to put the foot down and doing a little bit of a Bart Leeton, but waiting 400 metres in before she did it. So she's really shaken up the field now. They weren't quite happy just running in that big bunch, and we've gone from a bunch to a single line now. Baker's one who's decided to respond to that. I think Shackloff's still in second position. And White's just coming back to the pack again. So really put in a surge down that back straight very early in. 400 metres into the trip, started to get quite a break, and it looked like a big move. And she's just starting to surge again down the home straight as well. So pace not even at all here. So it's White. Shackloff in next position. Then we've got Baker looking very comfortable. Brooks to the outside of her. I think that's the next of the... That's Federico making that next move. Diol just sitting off the back as well. But out front, a group of 4. Then 20 metres. So 2:34 through the 800 metres. So relatively steady pacing here, unlike the first of the girls' heats. Oh, sorry, the first of the girls' finals, but White just keeps doing little surges, so he's controlling the pace from the front. Shackloff just sitting with her at the moment. Slight gap to Baker. Ali Brooks still in the mix there as well. So Shackloff decides she's going to go out wide here. So just getting on the shoulder of White. Gives Baker the perfect run there on the inside rail as Shackloff just has a look around to see who's in the mix at the moment. And she would have seen 2 bodies behind her and then a bit of a gap to Diol. So it's White, Shackloff to the outside, Baker on the rails, Brooks working nicely, just trying to get into that medal contention. So 1 lap out, race in 4. I can't see anyone bridging that gap. Brooks now moves into third ahead of Baker. Shackloff to the outside of White. It is on. So through the 1200, Shackloff starting to extend. I'm not sure if White can match that. And I'm not sure anyone from behind. Brooks and Baker staging a good battle here. 4 into 3 doesn't go. This is going to be a great battle for podium spots here. as Shackloff looks around, not sure that's the best tactic, 200 out, just head down and go for it, Orla. So Shackloff leads at 10 metres to White. It's now Brooks in second, Baker going with her. Call him in, Mitch.
So Shackloff coming down now to hit the bell. So right now she's going to hit the line here, and it will be Orla Shackloff. She's going to be the one to take it out here in the women's under 15, 1500. Watch the clock. A fast time on there, 4:48. Coming through now for second place is Brooks. Third place going to have to settle for Imogen Baker, as we see our Doncaster athlete now in Rachel White, who did a lot of work early. She's going to come through for fourth. Diol now through for Box Hill. We see a cluster of ladies come through. The one who's going to lead it through is Federico. As these ladies now start to see 5:07 on the clock. So fantastic racing here from our women's under 15, 1500. A lot of moves made and a great win there for Orla Shackloff.
So Swallow will just complete the field here, but once again, gutsy running for Rachel White to set that race up, Mitch. But in the end, just that little bit of class there from Orla Shackloff, made the moves at the right time and just established that break. And some great running there to make the podium in the women's under 15, 1500. So now introduce the field for the men's under 15, 1500, and it is a straight final. 14 starters, and they are from Williamstown in 1, John Skordakis. In 2 from Glen Huntley, Daniel Plotkin. In 3 from Box Hill, it's Kaylin Luong. And in 4 from John Guild, Tristan Courts. 5 from Collingwood Harriers, Charles Barrett. And 6 from Athletics Nunawading, Joshua Carlin. In 7 from Doncaster, Josiah Backer. In 8 from Box Hill, Jack Ewison. In 9 from Mornington Peninsula, Brodie Atchison. In 10, also from Mornington Peninsula, Sebastian Farrelly. In 11 from Ballerine, Jackson Unthank. In 12, also Ballerine, his twin, Joshua Unthank. In 13 from Mornington Peninsula, James Lambourne. And in 14, also from Mornington Peninsula, Joel Davies. 14 stars in the final of the men's under 15, 1500 metres.
On your marks.
So good start there, Mitch. I'll get you to try and pick the Mornington Peninsula runners as they come through. Those hip numbers are probably a bit clearer to you down trackside. Watch out for the Unthank boys here. Good pedigree there, Chris Unthank, Olympian, and it's good to see the boys out racing again here. But Mornington Peninsula leading the way.
Yeah, and it almost is a sea of orange in this race, Tim. So we'll try and get a look at them as they come by me here. At his hip number 10, Sebastian Farrelly is going to lead them out. Not far behind him there is James Lambourne. Behind them too is going to be Kaylin Luong. So these boys are going to spot a little bit of room to Farrelly. He's going to put about 15 metres on them through and strung out, like you mentioned in and so now these boys are going to string out. So Farrelly's going to be the one 20 metres in front as we see Luong now, Box Hill, start to move around and maybe drag them a little bit closer towards our leader, Tim.
Yeah, it's a good, clear lead at the moment, but things are starting to come together a little bit more in that chase pack. So Luong, the first of the Unthank boys, they're in third and also sixth at the moment. I know one wears yellow socks and the other one has dark socks, so that's the way you can separate them. So Farrelly looking good, looks quite relaxed, Mitch, as he comes through. He'll get 2 laps to go.
Yeah, he is going to float right on by me here, Tim. So Farrelly looking incredibly comfortable. It's still going to be Luong who's going to lead that chase pack, but it is all our man in front, Sebastian Farrelly of Mornington Peninsula. 1:59 on the clock there as he comes around to 800 and 100 metres time. And now we start to see Jackson Unthank, his brother, not far behind him, and Jonathan. So he's on the back of this pack. Luong still leading, but Unthank right behind him there as we see the twin duo sort of stuck in the sandwiches. Atchison as well of Mornington Peninsula, but it is our race leader in Sebastian Farrelly, 2:18 through 800, Tim. So he's doing it solo, but he's doing it quick.
Just had a little poke over his shoulder at that point too, Mitch, but he would have seen he's got about 35 metres, and I don't think they're really bridging the gap at the moment. So Unthank's quite content just to sit there behind the taller figure of Luong, but now he makes the move. So Unthank moving quickly here. And then goes back. So Luong's still leading that chase pack, which is really in the best interests of Farrelly at the moment, as he just keeps staying out in that 35-metre gap coming in. And he's going through the 1K mark there in about 2:57.
Yeah, and so these boys who are going to try and peg it back to Farrelly, they can't be hungry. They have to be starving. So they've really got to start to bring it back here with 450 metres to go. But it is still going to be Sebastian Farrelly. Geez, he's done it from the gun. Can he take it to the tape? 3:14 on the clock. So he has about 30-metre lead. It's still Luong leading them out. Tucked in beautifully behind there too is Jackson Unthank. Joshua Unthank not far away. Farrelly, he's got to maintain this lead, but these boys are going to start to get moving. So it'll be interesting over the last 300, Tim. What's going to take place in front of us?
Yeah, one to watch here might be the other Mornington Peninsula runner there in Brodie Atchison, sitting perfectly in fourth and hasn't done a lot of the work. We're just seeing Joshua Unthank really starting to get onto that bunch, but I think Jackson's starting to wind it up also with Luong, and a little gap forming to Atchison. So 200 out for Farrelly. I think it's put your glasses down, but gee, Luong, he's surging out front there, Mitch.
Yeah, Luong is starting to chew it back a little bit, but I think Farrelly might have done enough. He really started to separate early, and he's been able to maintain it, which is hard to do. So Sebastian Farrelly, he's done it the hard way. He's done it solo, but it is Luong. He's still going to make his presence felt with 100 metres to go, so it's not over just quite yet. Luong starts to get the skates on, so he's going to start to move. The Unthank twins as well are going to get moving, but it is going to be Sebastian Farrelly who's going to be your state under 1500 metre champion, as we now see as well Joshua Unthank, he's going to come through for second. Luong holds on for second, Unthank for third, Unthank for fourth. So the twins there finish right behind each other, but it is going to be Sebastian Farrelly who takes it out, Tim.
Certainly, good race there. I think Barrett's just coming through now. Then the young Glenn Huntley runner there in a Plotkin. But very interesting race. And the battle of the twins, it was Joshua who took that one, and he'll get a spot on the podium. And unfortunately, Jackson will be watching by. So great running. Sebastian Farrelly, good front runner there, as we see Tristan Courts. The last one to finish there in the just on the 5-minute mark in the men's under 1500.
Well, we're already being treated to some fantastic races on the track, but down on the infield, the presentation out for the under 14 women's 1500 metres. And receiving the bronze medal with a time of 4:55.96 from Western Athletics, Ella Vrovac. And receiving the silver medal with a time of 4:55.65 from Western Athletics also, Lucy Cleveland. And our gold medalist with a time of 4:55.05 from Menton Athletics, Noah Sarup. So big hand for Noah, for Lucy and Ella in the under 14 women's 1500 metres.
So the next event on the track will be the final of the women's under 16 1500 metres. There are 11 starters in a 1 from Glen Huntley, Tanasha Santosh, in 2 from South Melbourne, Ismeen Ostick Smith, in 3 from Williamstown, Nissa Miles, 4 from St Kevin's, Cleo Richardson, 5 from Athletics Essendon, Emily Mifsud, in 6 from St Stephen's, Olivia DaCosta Alves. In 7 from St Kevin's, it is Sophie Pont. In 8 from Ballerine, Greta Jones. In 9 from Collingwood Harriers, Karima Wakim. In 10 from Eureka, Daisy Sutholtz. And 11 from Williamstown, Natasha Rourke.
On your marks.
So clearly away, Santosh on the inside. You might expect Joaquim to be up there early. Richardson will probably sit and just watch the race pan out, and is Santosh who's leading. Sudholz might be another one to watch early as they start to settle. So Mitch, good bunch there, probably 6 or 8 in that lead pack as they start to get moving around the top bend.
Yeah, so these ladies are going to be more than contentious to sit around each other. Obviously championship racing, so sometimes people don't want to show their hand too early, so they're just going to sit around and wait and see who's going to move. As we see ladies moving out 4 wide, Tim, right now, to try and get a sit towards the front. So as they start to make their way by me, you could almost throw a blanket over it, but just as I say that, we're going to see Daisy Sudholz. She might be able to move around to the front. The one leading it out is Santosh. Behind her there too is Natasha Rourke. So these girls just going to sit comfortably, Tim. It's a little bit strung out at the back, but this up in front, more than happy to just sit around and see who's going to lead it.
All right, so approaching 400 metres, and we now will go down to Ross Cunningham with the next presentation.
Thanks, Tim. Under presentation for the under-14 women's triple jump, and receiving the bronze medal with a jump of 10 metres 65 from Athletics Chilwell, Carla Boras. And receiving the silver medal with a jump of 10 metres 82 from Albury Athletics, Kajana McCowan. And our gold medalist with a jump of 10 metres 94 from Frankston Athletics, Molly Colgan. So a big hand for our medalists there in the under-14 women's triple jump, and we'll hand you back across to Mitch and Tim in the commentary box.
So we're just seeing one by one a little bit of dropping off of the back of that pack now. Santosh still in the middle. We'll just try and pick up the leader as they come through. Santosh now in a second position. I think Rourke is up there at the moment too. And that's Sudholz, I think, who's taken the lead in the Eureka uniform.
So they're coming around once again nicely bunched here, Tim, and make sure you do have a look at the girls sort of sitting towards the back of that pack. That's going to be Karima Joaquim and also Cleo Richardson. They have the benefit of being able to just sit back, not have to think too much, and just let the pace sort of work in front of them. So as they come around through 800 metres, it is 2:34 on the clock. So we have that lead pack there of 6. We have a few athletes now starting to fall off. Sudholz managed to get her way to the front. So maybe this is the lap that we start to see a few moves, Tim, or we're going to see a really big bunch hit the bell and sort it out from there.
Yeah, I think off that pace we might be looking at some of the good 800-metre runners like Richardson and Joaquim to come home strong. So Males and her teammate Rourke from Williamstown sitting pretty in the middle of that pack, letting Sudholz just dictate the pace. Santosh has always been in a good position. She is a great strategic racer, is Tamasha Santosh. So Sudholz leads. We've got the Williamstown girls sitting mid-pack. Joaquim happy to sit at the rear of that pack as they come down, and they will be getting a 1 lap to go.
Yeah, and so this is going to be it, Tim. It's going to be a bumpy last 400 metres, so all these girls now may try and jostle for the bell. You definitely want to be in a good position when this one hits, so they're going to hear that sweet, sweet sound of the bell right now, and it's going to be Sudholz still leading it out. As you mentioned, Santosh as well. Well, she's really good at being able to find her way into the medal position. So right now, these girls are going to try and sort it out. 350 metres to go. This is where the moves start to be made as we see Cleo Richardson, the 800 metre speed you mentioned earlier, Tim. Maybe we're about to see it on the back straight. Still Sudholz, grits her teeth. Now we start to move, Tim.
Yeah, Richardson's the one that made that move. She had to work hard to get out of a box there and do a little bit of shoving to get out of it. But Cleo Richardson, it's all starting to wind up though. Santosh not done with yet. Either is Sudholz. So 200 out, Sudholz, Richardson, then a gap to Santosh. I think Males in next position, then Rourke and Joaquim. It's going to be stride for stride around that bend, Mitch.
Yeah, Sudholz, Richardson, as you mentioned, you made it a kicker's race, and here comes the kicker. Richardson on the outside now. She's going to get that slingshot effect. Coming into the last 100 metres, she starts to open the stride. So here we see now it's going to be Chloe Richardson. Moves away with ease now with the last 100 metres. Richardson going to take it out for St Kevin's. She's going to greet the judge first. 4:40 odd on the clock. So well done there to Chloe Richardson. Sudholz now comes through for second place. Santosh that you mentioned as well there for third. Now coming through is Joaquim. So all of these ladies Well, in the last 400 metres, they started to spread out, Tim, and those kickers, as I mentioned, really got to start moving.
Yeah, very good race there. Now let's get behind our other competitors that come through. I think this is Da Costa Elves will be next through. So good running there from the young lady in the St Stephen's uniform. Then we've got Greta Jones and Mifsad coming through now. So Sophie Pont, I think, will be the next one in. And his main Ostic Smith from South Melbourne in the traditional home colours of Lakeside Stadium. We'll finish off this event, and we'll now throw down to Ross for another presentation.
Thanks, Tim. Presentation now for the under 18 women shot put, and receiving the bronze medal with a putt of 11 metres 20 from Old Scotch, Olivia Nijiro Scott.
That's what the camera's going to take when you finish.
And receiving the silver medal with a throw of 11 metres 30 from Box Hill, Alana Chapman. And our gold medalist with a throw of 14 metres 24 from Box Hill also, Jessica Stevanovic. So a 1-2 there for Box Hill, and a big hand there for Jessica, for Alana and Olivia in the under 18 women's shot put.
We now introduce the final of the men's under 16 1500 metres, and there are 16 starters. In station 1 from Keolis St Bernard's, Dylan Egatuate. In 2 from Athletics Chilwell, Jacob Sprunt. In 3 from Knox, Tyler Hadfield. 4 also Knox, Harvey Anderson. In 5 from Glen Huntley, Terry Sakaridis. In 6 from Wendouree, Archie Caldo. In 7 from St Stephen's, Daniel Cheever Lynch. In 8 from St Kevin's, Patrick Grechko. 9 from Glen Huntley, Liam Mitchell. In 10 from Athletics Chilwell, Magnus Woods. In 11 from Traralgon, Miles Verschure. In 12 from St Kevin's, Jack Bowen. 13 from South Bendigo, Logan Tickle. In 14 from Old Scotch, Harrison Carr. In 15 from Eureka, Charles Chandler. And in 16 from Doncaster, Tom George Speed. So just holding the start while there's a slight technical hiccup. We're trying to fix that promptly. So yet again, just another reminder regarding our COVID safe practices here at Lakeside. Please remain 1.5 metres apart. If not, please put on your mask. For athletes arriving at the venue, please check in at the TIC under the main grandstand at least 60 minutes before your event, and then proceed to the call room as per the athlete's schedule.
On your marks. Stand back up, guys. You need to hold it steady, please. On your marks.
So a big field of 16 here, Mitch. It's going to be tight, and there's some very aggressive young men in this field. Egatuate on the inside. On the outside, I'm not sure who came across. Could have been Rechko potentially. We've got Hadfield in a good position there in the Knox uniform. Looks like Sakaridis might be the one who's decided he's going to sit at the back of the bunch for the moment. It's not a bad place to be as they start to settle down. So Caldo well positioned midfield and the outer in the Wendouree uniform. He's just going to bide his time there. I think Cheever Lynch is to the inside of him as Egatuate. No, Caldo's decided he's going to take the lead. So Archie Caldo, exciting prospect. Broke 2 minutes for 800 for the first time not so long ago. And Archie Caldo decided he's going to start to really put the pressure on the rest of the boys and see if he can force out a good pace, Mitch.
Yeah, he's going to make them work early, Tim. Obviously, if you do that speed, you're more than prepared to be able to move. So 64 seconds on the clock, so he's not messing around, and we're going to wait and see. Obviously, it's nicely strung out, so some of these boys will be feeling the pinch far earlier than what they were intending to. So we see that, I guess you could call it a front pack of 6 now, possibly starting to form. Bowen in there too. Keep an eye out on him in 4th place there. So a really class field, obviously, leading this one out. And also happening in the middle of the track, our men's under 20 hammer throw, 59.98, our current leader, our athlete from Ringwood. But as we turn our attention back to the track, it is going to be Archie Caldo. He's starting to extend that lead a little bit, Tim.
Yeah, they went through their first lap on around 4-minute pace. Now, with Caldo going sub-2, it indicates he's in around that form at the moment, and gee, he's looking good. I have compared him to Craig Mottram before, and he is an exciting prospect. So he's looking good there. It looks like it's Tom George Speed in next position. I think that might be Anderson moving through as well. So a few of the St Kevin's boys up there too, Mitch. It's really starting to sort itself out. A leader, gap of 15 metres, then the bunch of 5, then another 20 metres back.
Yeah, well, Bowen right now, he just seems to be extending. Take that back, sorry. I mean, Archie Caldo seems to be extending. I'm getting excited by Bowen moving around, maybe to lead that chase pack. So Caldo certainly making his presence felt, but he's got a bit of his work cut out for him now. These boys behind him will have the benefit of being able to work together, and the man who might be able to pull them through is Bowen. So Caldo looking smooth. He has not dropped his cadence whatsoever. He's looking incredibly comfortable. Gears to burn potentially with 500 metres to go, Tim. So it is Caldo, and it's still going to be as well our man Bowen from St Kevin's. He's going to lead through this chase pack. So Caldo now, he's going to come down and get the bell, and this chase pack is going to have to get moving.
So right on 3 minutes there. Chasing now is Harvey Anderson. We've also got Rechko up there as well. Bowen, Egadawade, then Speed. But it's all Caldo out front. Mitch, I can't see anyone running him down from there. This is a great solo performance, Archie Caldo. Once again, stamping the fact that he has arrived on the Victorian athletic scene.
Yeah, and that... A solo performance here from Caldo. So Caldo now with 200 metres to go. These boys at the back are now just fighting it out for minor placing. So these two St Kevin's boys might be able to work together to move around Harvey Anderson there, who's currently got the silver medal, but all for gold right now. Archie Caldo, as he arches his back and accelerates away now. So he has about 40 metres coming into this home bend. It's going to be Archie Caldo. It's always been Archie Caldo, and it always will be Archie Caldo. So he's got 80 metres to go right now. 3:58 on the clock. Caldo's going to be the one to do it. He's led it from gun to tape. So a fantastic performance there for a state title by Caldo. Our boys behind us here are going to start moving, and it may even be Bowen who just gets his teammate there in Rechenko. Coming in behind them there, Harvey Anderson, who made the move. So too now is Idogade. But wow, Archie Caldo. He just had it all from the start, Tim. As you see the rest of these boys now come down and still make them feel the, ladies and gentlemen, still same distance. As come down now. And a great performance here, Tim, by Archie Caldo.
Certainly was. So the good night of 1,500 metres continues as we lead towards probably one of the highlights of the night will be the Open Women's 15 coming up shortly. So Liam Michelle, final runner through there in the men's under 16 1500. So let's introduce the field in the next event, which is the final of the women's under 17 1500 metres. 11 starters, and they are in Station 1 from Keilor St Bernard's, Lauren Burke. In 2 from Yarra Rangers, Kiara Flavel. In 3 from Mentone, Amy Bunnage. In 4 from Doncaster, Sonna Backer. In 5 from Ballarat Harriers, Chloe Warmington. In 6 from Williamstown, Abby Goldsworthy. In 7 from Doncaster, Rosie Linus. In 8 from St Kevin's, Bridie Hill. In 9 from Geelong Guilds, Sophie Coltish. In 10 from Wellington, Debbie Hisoto, and 11 from Williamstown, Alexandra Schultz. 11 starters in the final of the women's under 17 1500 metres.
On your marks.
So clean start there. I'd be watching for Flavel and also Bunnage to be the dominant players early. So Flavel, bit of a breakthrough in 800 metres not so long ago. Fantastic 1500 performance from a Bunnage at Milers Club as well. And it's a nice bunch start though, Mitch, as they start to settle down. So I think the pace is on, but everyone's going with it.
Yeah, so these girls, like earlier before, Tim, they're going to get sucked into that championship racing. So we're just going to wait and see who wants to lead it out. Obviously, everybody here more than happy to sit comfortably and just wait to see who's going to lead it. So, as you mentioned, Amy Bunnage, she's done a lot of work this year. She's had a fantastic year. So too Kiara Flavel. So too as well Sophie Coltish from Geelong Guild. So a lot of high quality athletes here, but our two at the front, Kiara Flavel, right on her outside now is Amy Bunnage. So too is Baker of Doncaster. So these girls, Tim, they're going to sit very comfortably and they're going to let probably the two faster athletes of the field lead it out.
Yeah, we'd had Bunnage just poking over the shoulder. She would have seen that figure of Sonna Backer right there. Goldsworthy also moving well in that bunch as they go for in about 75 seconds. So it's not ridiculously quick, and that's when Bunnage decides it's time to go. Flavel does not respond. So Amy Bunnage going for glory. We saw this in one of the earlier races. Someone went at 400, couldn't hold it, but this time Bunnage probably has the goods to do that. So she's gone at 400, already gapped by 15 metres to Flavel. Backer's still up there as well, but it's really going to be, can they catch Amy Bunnage, Mitch?
Yeah, and Amy Bunnage, she has raced against a lot of open age athletes as well across the year, so she knows what it's like to be able to get bumped around. So she doesn't want any of that. She said, I'm going to do this my own way, and I'm going to do it with the comfortability of being in front. So Bunnage, 400 metres, she said, see you later, and she's still saying it. So she's about 30 metres ahead of the rest of this pack, looking incredibly comfortable as she comes past me here, Tim, through 700. So it's going to be Amy Bunnage, the one who might be able to peg it back. Kiara Flavel of the Yarra Rangers. So too Baker on her outside, and moving through nicely as well is Bridie Hill of St Kevin. So St Kevin's had a big showing across the night, but it's all Amy Bunnage, Tim. She's put about 50 metres in for a lap, 2:21 through the 800.
Okay, so looking back into that pack, and Debbie Hisoto is another one who's starting to make the move. She just got on the slipstream of Hill beautifully there, and she's leading through in that next pack. So it is Bunnage, Flavel. I think Hill and Backer in next position. Then we've got Hisoto as well. So lots of interest in the medals in this one, Mitch. But gee, Bunnage, it is yet again, it could be put your glasses down as she comes through the kilometre. And let's get that kilometre split. It's going to be quite quick. She's going to go through in 2:55 thereabouts. This is a sub 4:30 performance on its way.
2:55 is not messing about, particularly when you have people around you. Now try and do it on your own, and that's exactly what Amy Bunnage is doing here, Tim. So she's going to come down and get the bell right now. Look at the clock. It's going to be about 3:14. So let's make sure this last lap is felt with a lot of energy. Kiara Flavel, well, she's going to try and peg it back. She has a lot of distance to be able to bring back. Bunnage in a league of her own right now. Flavel's going to greet it with 3:25 on the clock. The rest of this pack now fighting it out for mine as Bridie Hill going to lead them through. On her outside is Hisoto, but it's all Amy Bunnage up the back straight, Tim, and she is just moving further and further away.
She certainly is, Mitch. So the gap out now to Flavel would be about 70 metres. A lot of interest now in the bronze medal, and I think there's two players in that little game at the moment, Bridie Hill and Debbie Hisoto. So the taller figure of Hill leads. Hisoto going stride for stride and starting to ease up. Backer in next position. But up the top, going around the last time and entering the home straight very soon. Let's get behind Amy Bunnage. This is a very good performance here at Lakeside on a warm night. So Amy Bunnage from Mentone, clear leader here. Flavel still battling on nicely too, so she's running what would be a very good time as well. But Bunnage just that step ahead here, and she'll be in the 4:20s, so 4:20 right now. So great running there from Bunnage. She looks controlled. She looks like she's got plenty of poise. Flavel will come through. She will 4:26.24 unofficial there. Flavel, look at Hill and Hisoto. I think Hill's going to have the goods here. I can't see Hisoto getting over the top. Good run from Backer. So Flavel second. Hill will take the bronze, but Hosoto mounts another charge, but not enough there. Hill will take the bronze. Hosoto fourth. Backer a strong fifth there ahead of Goldsworthy. Good finish there from Burke. On the inside there, I think that's Coltish. To the outside there, Linus. Coltish coming through now, so I missed the runner on the inside. And let's get behind the final runner here as they finish it off. And that will be Warmington from Ballarat Harriers. So Chloe Warmington will finish off the women's under 17 1500 taken out by Amy Bunnage from Mentone.
So before we get away with the next track event, the presentation for the under 14 men's 1500 metres, and receiving the bronze medal with a time of 4:28.82 from Albury Athletics, Alec Fransky. And receiving the silver medal with a time of 4:25.47 from St Kevin's Athletics, Ben Forster. And our under 14 gold medalist with a time of 4:14.16 from Old Scotch, Bart Leeton. So big hand for our under 14 boys in the 1500 metres.
So the 1500 metre action just keeps rolling on. The next event is the final of the women's under 18 1500 metres. We have 7 starters. In 1 from Box Hill, Ruby Marr. In 2 from Mentone, Sorcha Cretan. In 3 from Williamstown, Lucinda Rourke. In 4 from Williamstown, Monique Goldsworthy. 5 from Box Hill, Brianna Kroll. In 6 from Deakin, Megan Dixon. And in 7 from Sandringham, Matilda Strugnall.
Relax, girls. I've got a problem inside right. Girls, you can go for a bit more of a jog, but we're still mucking around with photo.
So once again, just a few little technical issues up in the administration area. So the girls are just having a little stride before we get back to this under 18 women's 1500.
On your marks.
So we're away here, fairly sedate pace. Dixon usually likes to lead, and yes, it is Megan Dixon who is going out. Lucinda Rourke sitting midfield at the moment, but a nice bunched field there, Mitch. A lot of interest in this one, some good names in the field.
Yeah, some high-quality athletes, Tim, who have competed a lot across the summer already, so they will be familiar with each other. And right now, this is going to be the slowest start to one of these races that we've seen. So this is true championship racing right now. I said it before, but you're seeing it on display. So as you mentioned, it is Megan Dixon of Deakin who wants to lead it out. So she might be able to back herself in the latter stages of these races. Give herself a little bit of time, let herself work into the race. So too is the rest of this field. So we could have a few good kickers. But it is Dixon who's going to lead them out. And as they come past me, tucked in nicely on the inside is Monique Goldsworthy of Williamstown. So she's behind. Rourke on the outside of her. Matilda Strugnall now sitting in second place. And our Box Hill pair as well, just sitting at the back. So no one's far away at all, Tim. They came through in about 63 seconds through 300. So sitting comfortably, this pack.
Yeah, let's see what moves happen on this backstraight. My gut feel is that they're going to stay pretty much bunched. This is going to be a true championship race. I can't see anyone making a big move early, as we saw with Bunnage in that previous race. So Dixon always sets a fast pace, and they were through, well, it was quite sedate actually through that 400-metre split, but I think we might see a really good kick down, maybe within a lap or two, Mitch.
Yeah, I think we'll start to see it really late, Tim. I'm with you on that one. These girls look incredibly comfortable to let each other sort it out. As you mentioned in the last race, we saw someone put their foot on the gas, and as I say that now, this pack now starts to string out to single file. Rourke in the middle of it all, so she's going to be a really good barometer for how fast this race is going. A class athlete sitting there in fourth. It's still going to be Megan Dixon. She's going to lead them through, so she doesn't want to give up that inside or that lead. On the outside there is Matilda Strugnell. So they haven't changed too much, but they have sort of strung out a little bit. So the race leader's still going to be Dixon. Rourke now pushes through nicely on the inside of that. Just on the outside there is going to be Monique Goldsworthy, and tucked in nicely still is Matilda Strugnell. So they start to separate a little bit here, Tim, as the pace starts to lift.
Yeah, and I think we'll now go down to Ross Cunningham and we'll do the next presentation.
Thanks, Tim. Presentation now for the under-15 women's 1,500 metres, and receiving the bronze medal with a time of 4:51.52 from Mornington Peninsula, Imogen Baker. And receiving the silver medal with a time of 4:49.68 from Diamond Valley, Ali Brooks. And our gold medalist with a time of 4:48.59 from Sandringham Athletic Club, Orla Shackcloth. So a big hand for our medalist there in the under-15 age group category for the women's 1,500 metres.
So it looks like a race in three at the moment, Mitch. Do you want to call them down the home straight as they come through, and they will be getting the bell?
Yeah, so as they start to make their way down now, we start to see this pace injected. Lucinda Rourke sitting just behind there on the inside, still leading them out is going to be Megan Dixon, and on the outside of there too is Monique Goldsworthy. So these girls now start to inject a bit of pace, start to ask a few questions. We're going to see who has some answers right now. Megan Dixon, 3:43. I should say 3:33 on the clock. Rourke now goes right with her. Goldsworthy starting to drop off a little bit. So now these girls are going to start to move away, Tim, and we're going to see who's going to be able to go first.
This is a real grinding effort out front now. Dixon is just trying to wear the legs out of Rourke. Rourke going with a gap now to Goldsworthy, who's been battling on well. And then gap back to Strugnell. But out front, Rourke launches. So Dixon's done the leading, but Rourke just look at that change of cadence. Those legs ticking over. 200 out. You'd think it'd be a 200 flat here, Mitch.
Well, she said, catch me if you can, but she said nobody will. So Lucinda Rourke booms away now with 150 metres to go. So she's going to move away. Our early race leader, Megan Dixon, who's done a lot of work, she's going to sit there in second place. But look at Lucinda Rourke come around this bend right now. She's going to come down with 70 metres to go. Well, come off the moment, come off the champion. So here's Lucinda Rourke right now. She's going to greet it first, moves away 40 metres ahead. 4:37 on the clock. So great racing there as we now see Megan Dixon come through for second place. Coming through for the bronze is going to be Monique Goldsworthy. Behind her there, Matilda Strugnell. As the rest of these ladies now around that bend and come into the home straight. So keep that energy going as we see Cretan now come through. And our two Box Hill athletes making their way through the finish line. Ruby Ma is going to come through with 5:05 on the clock, and rounding it out now is going to be Crawl of Box Hill. What a great race there from Lucinda Rourke to take it out in this women's under 18 1500.
So before we go back to the track, a quick presentation now for the under-16 men's 1,500 metres, and receiving the bronze medal. Medalist with a time of 4:06.27 from Wendouree Athletics, Archie Caldo. So big hand there for Archie, for Jack and Patrick, and the under-16 men's 1,500 metres. And we'll give you back to Tim
for the
Thanks,
action on the
Ross.
track.
And the 1500s keep rolling on now. We're getting up to the upper age groups of the women. The under 20s followed by the final of the Women's Open 1500. Now under 20 field, there are 10 starters. In Station 1 from Athletics Southwest, Emily Morden. Station 2 from South Melbourne, Saskia Lloyd. In 3 from Collingwood Harriers, Simone Maladay. In 4 from Athletics Chilwell, Sky Ellis. In 5 from Sandringham, Alice Oakley Kerr. In 6 from Geelong Guild, Alice Stiles. In 7 from Box Hill, Ashley Tragus. In 8 from Frankston, Lily Oxley. 9 from Collingwood Harriers, Michaela Young. And in 10 from Geelong Guild, Olivia Richardson.
On your marks.
So hard to pick a winner in this one, Mitch. It's a fairly even field here. I think Tragus will be one to watch out for. Another name that people won't know is Emily Morden from Athletics Southwest, a dual gold medalist at the Country Championships in Ballarat in emphatic style. So as they settle, it's a good pace early. I think they're going to set it up for a reasonably good time here.
Yeah, and so again, we almost need to give all of these competitors 200 metres to really sort themselves out. So they're about to hit that mark now. We'll get a better idea of exactly where they want to be. Obviously, a lot of tactics involved in these 1500s, so you want to lead it out earlier. You're happy to sit back and wait. So there's plenty going through the heads of these ladies as they're now going to make their way down this home straight in the women's under 20 1500. And the one who's going to lead them through, the one who's going to do it for them is going to be Ashley Tregus of Box Hill. On her inside there is going to be Simone Maladerette. And tucked in nicely behind them there is Sky Ellis. So these ladies now getting a little bit more strung out through 300, Tim. But the pace, as you mentioned, is certainly still on. So they're not waiting around in the sense that they're going to be slow. They're waiting around to see who's going to lead it. And I think it might be Tregus on the outside who might make a move through this bell. Or this first lap, I should say.
Yeah, haven't seen too much of Tregus over this season. Unfortunately missed the last Milers Club. Maladay similar. Saskia Lloyd coming in late in the season as well. And I think that might be Morden just sitting off the back of them at the moment. As I said, one to really watch and remember that name. So lead bunch of 5 now, slight gap then. And I'd say Tregus will be controlling that pace. Wasn't super quick out front over through that first 400 metres. So yet again, similar to that last race, we might see a very good championship race here.
Yeah, and so we see this pack of 6 here, Tim. They're starting to get a little bit of separation. Tregus, as you mentioned, you haven't seen too much, but she has been performing across the summer, so she's going to try and maybe extend this a little bit. Obviously, she's bringing through a pack with her. Nicely tucked on the inside there is Simone Maladerette from Collingwood. So Tregus just sitting on the outside of lane 1. So too beautifully there is Sky Ellis, and tucked in nicely Emily Morden. So let's see what they can do. It's sort of a pack of 4. Stuck in no woman's land is Saskia Lloyd, so hopefully she can either latch on and really grit her teeth as they're about to make their way through to the 800, but it is Tregus on her inside there still is going to be our Collingwood athlete as they go 2:36 through 800. So these girls starting to move away. The pack of 4 stays that way, Tim.
Yeah, good running there from Maladay. Just her and Tregus controlling the pace, and the pace isn't super quick. Very interesting to see the moves made by Morden, and each move she's made so far has been the right move. So she's now a player in this top 4 as they start to move away from the rest of the field. I think we've got the medals in that front bunch now, Mitch.
Yeah, and so now they're starting to make a few little moves. Tregus now might try and put her foot down and get to that inside as she comes around to the home stretch, and that's exactly what she does. So now we're going to see Ashley Tregus maybe take control of this race. She's been sitting there patiently waiting, but now it's a race for Ashley Tregus. So she gets that inside sit that she's been looking for. Now coming right up on her shoulder and going to tap her and say, hey, let's keep this pace rolling, is going to be our athlete there in Sky Ellis. So Ellis tucked in nicely behind Tregus. They get the bell at 3:34. Tregus, Ellis moving into that 3rd place position is Emily Morden, and beautifully there still is going to be Simone Maladerette. So Tregus now starts to extend with 330 to go. What can this pack of 3 do behind her there, Tim?
Yeah, it looks like Tregus has decided to make the move, and could this be the winning move? I'll be interested to see what Morden does to respond, and that's what she's doing right now. Very good tactician for someone so raw in this sport, and it's Tregus to Morden Alice, Maladay in that order. So it's not over and done with for Tragus yet as Morden mounts a final charge here, 200 out, Mitch.
Yeah, and Tragus, well, she's going to have to really grit her teeth here with 150 metres to go. Coming with a bit of pace is Emily Morden. So Morden, as she starts to swing her arms, Tragus now going to lead them in for the final 100 metres. Morden now creeps up on the outside. So Morden on the outside, Tragus on the inside. Now we see Morden power away. So she's bided her time. She's going to come over the top of Tragus, and she is going to be the one to hit the line first in this women's under 20 1500. 4:42 on the clock. Tragus there goes for second. Third place is going to be Simone Maladoret. And in fourth place there is going to be Sky Ellis. So they really started to break apart there. But it was Emily Morden who's going to be the one to take it out. So we see the rest of our athletes start to roll through now. Saskia Lloyd now comes through to the finish line. So too does Michaela Young. Behind her there is Ella Stiles. As we see our remaining two athletes, or one third athlete along that stretch now, Olivia Richardson and Alice Oakley-Kerr. With 150 metres to go as well, our final athlete in the women's under 20 1500, about to make her way around and come into this final stretch. And so keep that energy and that round of applause going, ladies and gentlemen, as we see our final athlete here in the women's under 20 1500 going to greet the judge. A great race there, and well done to Lily Oxley of Frankston Athletic Club. And a great race all around there, Tim, in the women's under 20 1500.
The presentation now for the under 16 women's 1500 metres, and receiving the bronze medal with a time of 4:47.79 from Glenn Huntley, Tanasha Santosh. And receiving the silver medal with a time of 4:44.89 from Eureka Athletics, Daisy Sudoltz. And our under 16 women's 1500 metre gold medalist with a time of 4:43.11 from St Kevin's, Cleo Richardson. So well done to Cleo, to Daisy and Tanasha in the under 16 women's 1500 metres.
So thanks once again, Ross, as we see the sun setting over Melbourne. Very picturesque here, and it is my pleasure now to introduce the 54th running of the Women's Open 1500 metre Championship of Victoria. Championship record 4:08.98 set by Lyndon Hall in 2017. Most wins shared with 4: Jenny Orr Ringwood, Jackie Perkins Ringwood, Anne Cross Essendon and Amanda Pauland at Doncaster. Reigning champion from 2019-20, Morgan Mitchell, Western Athletics in 4:18.66. And our field of 9 is in Station 1, representing Deakin, Rebecca Waters. In Station 2 from Diamond Valley, Shania Murray. Station 3 from South Melbourne, Gigi McAnini. In 4 from Athletics Essendon, Isabel Girardi. In 5 from St Stephen's, Madeline Murray. In 6 from Eaglehawk, Juliet Healy. In 7 from Deakin, Brigitte Humphrey. In 8 from Doncaster, Abby Caldwell. And in 9 from Frankston, Gemma Maney. The 9 starters in the final of the Women's Open 1500 metres.
Girls, if you want to have another job, do so. We've got a problem in photos. We're quite ready to start.
So unfortunately just another slight hiccup here in the admin area. We will hopefully get the girls underway as they reform the line. So we are good to go now. We'll get the girls reformed, but before we do that, I think we'll have Ross Cunningham for another presentation.
Thanks, Tim. Jumping the gun a bit there. Need to get the medals out. So the presentation now for the under-20 men's hammer throw. Receiving the bronze medal with a throw of 50 metres, 93 from Diamond Valley, Calvin Meaden. And receiving the silver medal with a hammer throw of 54.30 from Ringwood Athletics, Ben Sandilands. And our under-20 men's hammer gold medalist throw with a throw of 59.98 from Ringwood Athletics, Benjamin Vood. So big congratulations to Benjamin, Ben and Calvin in the under-20 men's hammer throw.
So underway now in the 54th running of this prestigious Women's Open 1500 metres. So ones to watch, you've got McEnany, you've got Caldwell, you've also got Madeline Murray, former Victorian mile champion, yet to take out the 1500 metre championship. So fairly bunched start here, so the pace not on at the moment. I think we will see a championship here. We've got the speedy legs, the 800 metre legs of the likes of McEnany, also Humphrey, Caldwell. Waters has been running well this season as well. Gemma Maney, World Cross Country representative to the outside there, just trailing off the back of Caldwell. In the middle is Humphrey. Murray is on the rails at the moment as they allow Murray and also McEnany to lead the way on a very slow first 300.
Yeah, so it is McEnany on the inside here, Tim, and she's going to be more than happy for these girls to play into her hands. As you said, really good 800 metre speed. One to really watch out for on the outside is, well, she's had a fantastic year, coached by Gavin Burren. He knows how to get these athletes ready for championship racing. So they come through 400 there in about 122, 123. So they are going to make it an absolute tactical affair, but it is going to be McEnany on the inside. And the rest of these girls, well, we have some of them going 3 wide at the moment, Tim. I believe that's Maney on the outside. So these girls are more than happy and more than willing to run a little bit of extra distance to feel comfortable. A little bit of pushing and shoving in there, but McEnany out of the trouble in front.
So I think I'm going to put my house on no PBs being run in this one. They went through at 5-minute pace through the 400 metres. Let's see if there's any move on lap 2 as they come down, and they will get 2 laps to go. So it's no change out front. Healy just now dropping off the back of the field, but the rest of them still in the picture. So 5-minute pace is ultra comfortable. It's Sunday morning long run pace. Mitch?
Yeah, it absolutely is, Tim. So they're going to be, as I mentioned, more than happy to sit around. If you're a kicker, this is fantastic. If you're someone who needs to take the sting out of the legs and maybe time to make a move, I know it's championship racing, but you've still got to try and get a medal. So these girls all tucked nicely. They're all still nicely bunched. Maney is going to be the one in the middle of it all. That experience, maybe she might be the one to be able to get a bit of pace injected. Abby Caldwell as well, firmly on the outside. McEnany, they've come through in 2:42. So that's 2:42 through 800, and now we might start to see a little bit of pace, and that's exactly what we do see. So Caldwell on the outside, she's going to get these girls moving. Maney going to be the one to cover it. McEnany on the inside. So too is going to be Madeline Murray. So these girls now start to ramp it up a little bit, Tim. No more Sunday long run.
The pace is now on, and we're going to see the championship style racing here. So is it going to suit Murray and also McEnany? But we've also seen Caldwell running very well over the 800 metre journey as well. The line will probably start to stretch as some of those 440 runners start to find this pace just that little bit too hard. And it's Caldwell. We saw her finish off the Ondieki 3000 so brilliantly, but she's got Madeline Murray. She's got some of the over 20s in this race with her. So it is Caldwell, Murray, McEnany, Maney, gap to Murray, and then also Waters as they hit the bell.
Yeah, so Caldwell now going to stretch them out. Murray on her outside, McEnany on the inside. So McEnany had the benefit of sitting in front when it got argy-bargy. Caldwell now going to start to show her experience at junior level, take it to the seniors. So Caldwell now, she's going to ask them the question. Murray on the outside has an answer. So too McEnany. Maney dropping off now. Caldwell going to lead them through, Tim. Now on the outside, Murray. So Madeline Murray, she's going to take it with 200 metres to go. Caldwell behind her. McEnany not done with yet. It's going to be an absolute sprint here, Tim.
Yeah, looks Murray is looking strong, but Caldwell's now hitting her stride once again and goes to that outer position. So strategic moving there by Caldwell. Goes to the outside, goes straight past. Abby Caldwell once again showing her class. I don't think Murray will bridge that. Let's get behind Abby Caldwell. This is going to be an impressive final and a good open championship here for Abby Caldwell. She'll take the victory. Not a fast time, but a strategic race there. Abby Caldwell gets it right on the 4:30. Murray settles for the silver. McAneedy the bronze. Gemma Maney, she'll come through now for the 4th position. Humphrey moves through the field very well, and Humphrey will take next from Waters, then Shania Murray, Girardi and Healy in that order.
So the presentation now for the under 15 men's 1500 metres, and receiving the bronze medal at a time of 4:25.88 from Bellarine Athletics, Joshua Unthang. And receiving the silver medal with a time of 4:25.64 from Box Hill Athletic Club, Callan Luong. And our gold medalist with a time of 4:22.64 from Mornington Peninsula, Sebastian Farrelly. So big hand there for Sebastian, Callan and Joshua in the under 15 men's 1500 metres.
So we now move to 2 heats of the men's under 17 1500 metres. The top 5 in each, plus the next 5 best times, will proceed through to the final. So heat 1 of 2, there are 12 starters. In station 1 from Old Scotch, Nathan Munro. In 2 from Old Melburnians, Alexander Angus. 3 from Waverley, it is Raymond Jansen. In 4 from Mentone, Sam Elberston. 5 from Knox, it's Spencer Storr, and in 6 from Athletics Chilwell, Jack Ellis. In 7 from Athletics Essendon, Ty Davis. In 8 from Eureka, Benjamin Mornane. In 9 from Doncaster, Benjamin Purser. 10 from Old Zavarians, Jerry Stamoulis. In 11 from Doncaster, Taraku and Natchev. And in 12 from Frankston, Jordan Mill.
On your marks. Stand up, guys. You need to hold it steady, please. On your marks.
So back to heat racing, Mitch here. So the dynamic changes. It's top 5, next 5 best times. So I think the pace will be on here. These boys will be trying to get a little bit of clear space and working their way through to finals contention.
Yeah, you run with a little bit more desperation in the heats, Tim. You obviously need to be in that first 5 to automatically go through, and then you need to be pretty close to that to be able to make it through. The next 5 fastest time across the 2 heats are going to be the boys to get through to the final. So these guys going to run with a little bit of fire in their belly. So they're going to try and sort themselves out again, running wide though, Tim. So now they start to bunch up. They come out of the gun hot, and now they try and find their pace. So our Knox athlete there is going to lead us through. Number 5 on his hip, that's going to be Spencer Storr. And on the outside of him is going to be Sam Albiston of Mentone. So too is going to be Alexander Angus of Old Melburnians on the inside. So as we said, the first 5 are automatic in this first heat, and these boys are going to be nicely bunched as they come through the first 400. They're going to greet it at about 68 seconds. So they're going to be moving, but they're all just waiting to see who's going to string it out.
Yeah, it's a solid pace without being super quick, but what I did note, quite a few are running very wide into lane 2, so they're going an extra 14 metres for each lap at the moment. But let's get back to the front. It is Spencer Storen, just having a look around and seeing Albertson's still there. Angus is with him. You've also got the Frankston runner there and Jordan Milne. So it's a nice little bunch out front, and they're setting the pace, as we said, not too quick, not too slow, and I think we're going to see some action fairly soon.
Yeah, it might start to burst open soon, you're right, Tim. Watch out for Albiston on the outside there from Mentone. He's had a few good races across the Victorian Milers Club season, so he's no stranger to being able to move his way through, and that's exactly what he does now. So he's going to come around, maybe just get in front. No, not quite. So it's still going to be Spencer Storen, as you mentioned. Had a look around. Now moving from Frankston 2 is going to be Jordan Milne. So he's going to move up. Now watch Raymond Jansen as well. So the Waverley athlete, he's moved from relatively towards the back of the field, Tim. So now some of these boys who've had the benefit of the sit might start to break it apart. 2:23. So that lap was a little bit slower than the first one. And now we see Albiston. Jansen as well going to move from the midfield.
Yeah, so all the favourites are up front at the moment. Interested in the mid-pack there. You've got Munro and also Jansen, the two taller figures. And Mornane, after doing a fair bit of bullocking work, he's the one who's made the big moves there, Ben Mornane in the Eureka uniform. But out front, it's still Storen with Albiston to the one out, one back position. On the rails there, it's Angus, and he's looking good unless he gets boxed in. To the outside of him is Milne from Frankston.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tim. Mornane came from the back, still trying to find his position there, our tall figure from Eureka. Now coming on his outside, I'll try and get a read of that as they come by, but now the racing starts, so these boys want to be in that top 5. Albiston on the inside of him there, Spencer Storen doesn't want to move. Also Alexander Angus, and now we see Jansen, so too Jordan Milne. So these boys now are going to start to move away. They want to be comfortable in that top 5. Now Sam Albiston takes the lead, so he's bided his time. Angus 2 now moves around our early race leader and Spencer Storen, and now these top 5, they're going to shape up on this back straight, Tim.
Yeah, it's a good race, isn't it? So Albiston's looking good. Storen's still in the picture here, and I like what I've seen from Angus, always in good position. He just comes alongside Storen now. Jansen's made a really good move to establish his position in the top 4.
Yeah, so these 4 boys are going to clear out right now. So there will probably be your top 4 in whatever order they decide. They will be moving through. It's now a battle for that 5th position. Just as I say that, these boys aren't going to be content with qualifying. They want to get the win. So our early race leader in Spencer Storen, he's going to try and get up on the shoulder of Sam Albiston. But it's going to be Albiston, Storen. These 4 are going to move through. Now moving into that 5th position is going to be Nathan Munro. So Munro takes the 5th spot. Watch the clock. About 4:20 there. So these boys in the next heat are going to have to keep their eye on that. But those first 4, Tim, they moved away pretty comfortably as we start to see the rest of our field for the first heat here make their way across the finish line. And that is our first dose of heat racing. So Stamoulis, Jerry Stamoulis of Oldsavarians comes through.
So the important number there to watch, Mitch, is that 4:20 thereabouts, and that was where our fastest non-autos will be coming through.
So before we go back to the track presentation now for the under-18 women's 1500 metres, they're receiving the bronze medal with a time of 4:48.91 from Williamstown Athletics, Monique Goldsworthy. And receiving the silver medal with a time of 4:42.05 from Deakin Athletics, Megan Dixon. And our gold medalist with a time of 4:37.53 from Williamstown, Lucinda Rourke. So a big hand for Lucinda, for Megan and Monique in the under-18 women's 1500 metres.
12 starters, heat 2 of 2, men's under 17. 1,500 metres. Station 1 from Morning Peninsula, Charlie Kybird. In 2 from Glen Huntley, Aidan Velton. In 3 from Box Hill, Isaac Bibele. In 4 from Dandenong Springvale, David Elliott. In 5 it's from Oldsavarians, Joshua Augustinus. In 6 from Knox, Mitchell Pentreath. 7 from Old Scotch, Tommy Cluckow. In 8 from Athletics Chilwell, Ryan Costin. 9 from Doncaster, Remy Williams. In 10 from Collingwood Harriers, Wolfgang Cotran Amizi. In 11 from Knox, it is Matthew Venner. And in 12, it is Cameron Marshall from Old Zavarians. So Cotran Amizi off to a good start there on the inside in the Mornington Community colours. That's Kai Bird, and just to the outside of him, looks like it's a Box Hill uniform, but we will pick that up. That could be Bibelay. So Mitch, a lot of interest in this one. So around that 4:20 mark is what those the fastest qualifiers will be looking for.
Yeah, and so these boys in this second heat do have the benefit of knowing around that time that they need to be able to make it through to the final. So they should have a rough idea in their head of what pace they need to go out at. And unless you're backing yourself to be in that top 5, you certainly want to get your foot on the gas. So right now we see a new race leader. It's going to be our Old Zavarians athlete. He's going to do exactly that. So he's going to try and stretch out this field a little bit right now. So as he comes past me is Joshua Augustinus. On the outside of him there is Matthew Venor, and so too Isaac Babile. It's going to be Wolfgang Coltra Nemesi sitting nicely on the outside and Bird on the inside of them. So let's see how fast these boys do go through. They went through in about 68 through the first lap last time. They're going to come through relatively the same, 67, 68. Let's see what this second lap's going to be. Babile going to try and slow down the rest of that pack behind him. Wolfgang on the outside, but Tim, they are a little bit more strung out than our first heat.
Yeah, they're in a good steady line there, but Augustinus and Venner setting a good pace. Bibelay seems quite content. Cotran and Amizi, I think, is the one we've really got to watch. I think Wolfgang's just going to sit there and really launch a bit late. As we know, this is a heat. It's not a final, so they've just got to secure that top 5. So when you're coming in with one of the top seed times, you can just drift there for a little while and just go for glory when you hit that bell. But at the moment, it is Augustinus from Old Zavarians leading the way. No real change with Fenner just to the outside of him. Cotran Amizi controlling the pace there, even though he's not in front. You can just see he's really comfortable. A little bit of a move there from one of the Glenn Huntley runners, and that would be Aidan Velton.
Yeah, there's a lot of pushing and shoving going on right now, Tim. So these boys start to recognise maybe we need to get a little bit of a move on as we see our old Scotch athlete start to make his way through the back. That is Tommy Cluckow. So Cluckow now going to lead them through. Wolfgang behind him there. He's been checked quite a bit, so he hasn't quite had the smoothest ride. 2:20 on the clock, so slightly faster than our first heat, but they did start to get moving late. So some of these boys now are going to have to start to make a move. Wolfgang more than happy to let this pack just sit nicely behind him there. Cluckow going to lead him out, and maybe now, Tim, with about 600 metres to go, this is where you start to sort it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of numbers still up there, Mitch, so this is going to be interesting as they go through. I don't think the pace is super quick, so they've got to watch. If you're not going to get in the top 5, you really have to be mindful of that time. So about 4:20 thereabouts is what they're after.
Yeah, and so now we start to see a few of these boys who have been benefiting sitting off the back. They're going to try and test the field. So Babile, he's been sitting back, the Box Hill athlete. Look at the shoes, you can't miss him. So he's going to be the one. Wolfgang Kotra, he's going to cover the move. Inside there is Charlie Kybird. So 3:12 on the clock, so they certainly could go under that 4:20 if they start to get a move on. Babile, Wolfgang, Kybird, still Augustinus behind him there too. So too is going to be Matthew Venor. So there's your top 5 right now. Things could change up the back straight, but they are looking pretty comfortable there, Tim.
So Remy Williams from Doncaster, he's the one who's going to try and bridge that gap. Cluckow's got to stay as composed as possible over this last 250. Out front though, that top 3, Mitch, looking totally relaxed, aren't they?
Yeah, they're looking incredibly relaxed, but probably a little bit too relaxed in a sense, Tim. They're all looking over their shoulders. They should be focused on this finish line. You never know who's going to fly around, but they do look pretty safe up the front there. Babile, Wolfgang Kocher on his outside, Charlie Kybred sitting nicely there in third. But now we start to see a bit of a kick at the back. So there are 6 of them there. They're going to want to get a move on. A lot of looking around the shoulders. So these boys now are going to want to make sure that they're in there. And unfortunately, the one who might miss out on the auto qualifying spot is going to be Augustinus, but look at the clock. He's going to make his way through. 4:17 as these 6 come through now. We'll have to wait and see what happens here with Tommy Kluckow. He's got 4:23, so he might be around that mark here, Tim, but that top 6 is going to make it through, but a lot of looking around the shoulders late.
Yeah, my big elephant stamp goes to Remy Williams in that one. Brilliantly poised race, that one. Made his move when he needed to and got safely into qualification. So interesting stuff there in the men's under 17 1500. So, yep. So here's one of our para athletes, Cameron Marshall. Let's get behind him as he finishes this journey over the 1500 metres. And our final runner coming through from Dandenong Springvale, David Elliott. So let's get behind him as he finishes the heats of the men's under 17 1500. So from heats back to finals again as we call the field here in the final of the men's under 18 1500 metres. There are 18 starters and they are in 1, Will Hine, St Kevin's, 2, Fred Leeton, Old Scotch, Luke Sin from Doncaster in 3, Logan Janetsky, Glenn Huntley in 4. From Western Athletics in 5, it's Bradley Ganley. In 6, Joshua Tram from Collingwood Harriers. Finian Russell from Mornings Peninsula in 7, Noah Wright from Yarra Rangers in 8. In 9, we have Riley Lovick from Frankston. Geelong Guilds, Elias Stott in 10. Isaac Rosado, Eureka in 11. Hudson Bucci Mentone in 12. In 13, we have Reuben Howard from Glen Huntley. 14, Keolis and Bernard's Mitchell Langbourne. In 15, Archie Noakes from Athletics Essendon. Robert Barber from Old Scotch in 16. Nicholas Martin from Knox in 17. And Jai Hadfield also Knox in 18. So 18 starters in the final of the men's under 18 1500 metres. So away safely, 18-man field. This will be interesting, Mitch, but let's go to Ross first for the next of our presentations.
Thanks, Tim. Presentation now for the Open Women's 1500 metres and receiving the bronze medal with a time of 4:36.86 from South Melbourne, Gigi McAnini. And receiving the silver medal with a time of 4:34.33 from St Stephen's, Madeline Murray. And with a fine performance of 4:32.51 from Doncaster Athletics, taking out the gold medal, Abby Caldwell.
So as we see the girls on the podium there and this big bunch in this men's under 18. 18 runners, and it is Langbourne and Hadfield are leading the way. Just to the outside then, I think it was Reuben Howard up there. So Mitch, what do you see in this race at the moment?
Well, it's a needle in a haystack right now, Tim. Good luck trying to find, because these boys are nicely tucked. So they're all just going to work off each other. As you mentioned, there is a field of 18 right now, so trying to find a position isn't going to be easy to do. They've still been able to maintain quite a solid pace through the bunch. The one that I'm looking at on the inside there is Fred Old Scotch. He's looking really comfortable on that inside position, and in this sort of racing, if you can find the rail, you're going to be a massive benefit than those going wide. So keep an eye out for all these boys on the rail. As I say that now, starts to get strung out, Tim. So maybe this pace is starting to lift.
Yeah, I think Langbourne's just starting to wind it up a little bit at the moment. And the chasers are just going with him. Hadfield being one of those. Archie Noakes is one to watch for as well in the Essendon colours. Leighton in the Scotch colours. A little bit of, good move there from Noakes. He's gone to the inside, but now Leighton decides he's going to make a little bit of a charge and pick up the pace.
Yeah, so these boys now start to change around. Leighton had to go wide to get through. Was on the rail, went out, back on the rail now. So these boys start to be strung out, and now there's a bit of pace injected. Push and shove going on in the middle. That's what you can expect. And watch these boys, as you mentioned, from Essendon and Mornington Peninsula now start to move. So this race feels like it's ramping up through 800 metres. And as you mentioned, our athlete there, Archie Noakes from Essendon, he goes to the front now. The one going to follow him is going to be Jai Hadfield. Always been towards the front, but Leighton says, nah, you can't have that inside. I'm going to take it. So Leighton going to be on the inside. Hadfield now makes his way around. Noakes going to lead them through with about 5:50 to go, Tim. Now we're racing.
This is really on, isn't it? It's a great race to watch. So get behind your favourites or get behind everyone. This is really on. So looks like it's Langbourne back in the picture again. Noakes on the inside. Hadfield, big run from Ruben Howard. I'm loving this. Janetsky's now trying to bridge that gap and go for that top 5 position. But Mitch Langbourne 1 lap out.
Yeah, so Langbourne now, he's going to put his foot down and say, come with me, boys, if you can. So now we're going to see what Noakes has is him. Noakes is going to sit behind him there. Hadfield 2 in 3rd place. They start to separate the long stride of Hadfield now. He comes up on the shoulder of Noakes. It's still going to be our man, Michael Langbourne, who's going to lead them through. But here comes Jai Hadfield. Don't ride him out yet. Neither should Noakes. 200 metres to go, Tim. It's an absolute race in 3.
I can't see Janetsky bridging that gap, so race in 3 now unless Langbourne absolutely blows. But out front now it is Hadfield. Saw him really break through in the 1500 metres just a few weeks ago, and this is a really impressive performance here. Strategic racing. Hats off to Noakes, so he's really put it out there. But gee, Jai Hadfield, how good is this? Clock now 3:55. He won't be under the 4, but in a championship, it's a good run. Janetsy's coming through for the final medal, I think, and then we'll have Sin. But it is Hadfield, Noakes, Janetsky, Sin. Then it was a Langbourne, Russell, Howard, Tram, Leighton. Then Rosado coming through. On the inside of him was the St Kevin's runner there, and that was Will Hine. But gee, good championship racing once again. And let's go back to Ross Cunningham in presentations.
Thanks, Tim. Presentation now for the under-17 women's 1500 metres, and receiving the bronze medal with a time of 4:44.18 from St Kevin's, Bridie Hill. And receiving the silver medal with a time of 4:35.71 from Yarra Ranges, Chiara Flavel. And our gold medalist with a time of 4:26.01 from Mentone Athletics, Amy Bunnage.
So we go from finals back to heats again, Mitch, so we've got to just tone it down a little bit again. It gets very exciting up here at finals time, but the heats next will be for the men's under 20 1500. There will be the top 5 once again going through automatically, and the next 5 fastest times will make it through to the 15-man final. 10 starters in heat number 1, and they are in Station 1 from Geelong Guild, Jaron Hobbs. In 2 from Sandringham, William Garbelotto. In 3 from Old Scotch, Tom Worsteling. In 4 from Mornington Peninsula, Nathan Corbett. 5 from Deakin, Archibald Lawrence. In 6 from Diamond Valley, Caden Murray. 7 from Athletics Essendon, Lachlan Addard. In 8 from Keilor St Bernard, Solomon Meeson. In 9 from Old Zavarians, Angus Dalton. And in 10 from Old Scotch, Tom Bowers. 10 starters, heat 1 of 2, men's under 20 1500.
Just before we go to the track, quick presentation, this one for the under 20 women's 1500 metres, receiving the bronze medal with a time of 4:45.89 from Collingwood Harriers, Simone Malliart. And receiving the silver medal with a time of 4:42.73 from Box Hill Athletics Club, Ashley Tregus. And our gold medalist with a time of 4:41.80 from Athletics South Bendigo, I think, Emily Morden.
On your marks.
So my correction is actually Athletics Southwest. Emily Morden is from a newly established AV club. So a big congratulations there to Emily and to all members associated with Athletics Southwest. So well done there to Emily, to Ashley and Simone in the under-20 women's 1500 metres.
So Garbalotto leading this one, probably as expected, Mitch. He does like a little bit of room out front. So Garbalotto just on the inside. I think Murray is the taller figure just to the outside of him as they start to settle. So top 5 to go through, next 5 fastest times.
Yeah, so half of this field will automatically qualify through to the final. As you mentioned, Tim, William Garbalotto does love to lead it, but now we see our Diamond Valley athletes sort of just come over the top of him there, and Caden Murray. So Caden Murray also done a lot of work over the summer season. So too is Tom Bowers, tucked in nicely behind him. So quality field. Obviously, as you mentioned, the first 5 automatic in the next 5 fastest times. So Garbalotto there in second. It is still Caden Murray out in front. It'll be interesting to see what these boys roll through the first lap. They are certainly on pace, 66 seconds there, Tim. So they're not messing about here in the first heat. Maybe they learned from the first heats earlier that they need to get the pace moving.
Yeah, we saw Murray wasn't mucking around at Ballarat in the Country Champs, where he came very, very close to breaking 4 minutes in pretty much a solo performance. So Caden Murray doesn't mind getting out early. Good run there at the moment from Bowers in the next position, my apologies. And Garbalotto just still sitting on the rails in a second position. So lead bunch of 3 there. They don't have to go for it here because it is the heat and not the final. And we see Bowers just coming around. Saw him run so well recently. And Bowers, he ran, I think, won that under 25k.
Yeah, he did, and I was mentioned too before the 5K, they did have good speed, so Bowers obviously has a really good range to be able to use through this 1500. Not content with settling in there though. He definitely wants to lead this and push the pace, so maybe feel his legs underneath him. 2:08 through that first 800, so keep in mind they went through in about 65, so Bowers has led them through on a quicker loop. Now we see our Geelong Guild athlete, I believe it's Hobbs there with hip number 1. He moves through the third. So these boys now starting to shake it up a little bit. 600 metres to go, it's still Bowers, Garbalotto. They're going to be the comfortable ones in the 1-2 position, but we're going to have to wait and see in the shotgun who's going to move around there, Tim.
Yeah, good move by Hobbs to get into position then. Murray's just starting to drift backwards into the field. He'll have to worry about position, but it's Bowers just looking so comfortable. Garbalotto just sitting in the slipstream. He always looks comfortable like that. So they're looking fairly safe. Hobbs is now just going to hold on. You've got the Deakin athlete there in Lawrence also moving nicely. Old Zavarian's Dalton just having a peek over the shoulder to see that, yeah, he's in number 5 position. He's just going to hold that with 1 lap to go.
Yeah, so Nathan Corbett of Mornington Peninsula currently sitting there in 6th. He might be able to peg it back. He is looking comfortable. So these boys now sitting further back. Jaron Hobbs may be the one who has to keep an eye out for our Mornington Peninsula athlete, but Tom Bowers just moving away. I don't think he's going to put his head on a swivel, Tim. He seems keen to win everything he goes in, including the heats. So Bowers now extending away from Garbalotto. As we start to see them move through now, we're going to see Archibald Lawrence there still sitting in 3rd. Our Old Zavarians athlete Angus Dalton as well sitting in 4th. Still going to be Jaron Hobbs, and the man who's going to have to do some work is Nathan Corbett. As they start to round the bend though, it is going to be all Tom Bowers. He's going to take out this first heat of the men's under 20 1500. You mentioned he won the 5K not so long ago, and now he's going to take out this heat in comfortable style, so he'll be the one to watch when we get into the finals, but it is Tom Bowers who's going to take it out. Watch the clock, 3:56 on the clock. Garbalotto now going to come through for second. In 3rd place here is going to be Lawrence. Now it's going to be Dalton, and who's going to hold on is going to be Jaron Hobbs. So now we see Nathan Corbett come through, Caden Murray as well from Diamond Valley, and now we see Lachlan Attard come through the line. So that top 5 got through quite comfortably in the end there, Tim, as we see our old Scotch athlete in Worsterling, Tom Worsterling now comes through, and to round it out is going to be Solomon Meeson of Keilor St Bernard's, but heat 1 done.
So presentation now for the under 20 paras in the men's 1500 metres. And receiving the gold medal, the time of 4:59.54 and a percentage of 75.28 From Old Zavarians, Cameron Marshall. So big hand there for Cameron, gold medalist in the under 20 para men's 1500 metres.
So let's introduce the field now for the second of our two heats of the men's under 20 1500 metres. There are 11 starters. In station 1 from Box Hill, Darren Diol. In 2 from Western Athletics, Ethan McMinamy. 3 from Knox, it's Benjamin Collins. In 4 from Mentone, Thomas Hughes. 5 from Old Scotch, Lachlan Stewart. In 6 from Mornington Peninsula, Taj Davies. In 7 from Box Hill, Douglas Buckeridge. In 8 from St Kevin's, Luca De Conza. In 9 from Knox, Reese Hadfield. In 10 from Old Zavarians, Benjamin Sherman. And in 11 from Ballarat YCW, Jaden Wallace. There are 11 starters, heat 2 of 2, men's under 20 1500.
On your marks. Stand up, guys. You need to hold steady, please. On your marks.
So fairly fast start there, Mitch. I think they're trying to establish positions. We've got some good starters in here too. You look at the likes of McMinamy, also Buckeridge, De Conza. It's actually a pretty stacked heat, this one.
Yeah, Buckeridge, the one there who wanted to get that early lead, so he's going to put the pace down. A little bit of experience, obviously, a good championship racer, so he may know that he needs to get these boys moving in order to get as many through as possible. So Buckeridge is going to lead them through. Our Western A's athlete on the inside. McMinimy, I believe that's going to be on the inside of him. So these boys now just going to stay tightly bunched. They're going to work it through, but Buckeridge looking comfortable there. The one to watch as well, as you mentioned, is Reese Hadfield. He's been having a great summer. So too Benjamin Sherman on the outside there. So watch for those boys towards the back of the pack. But Buckeridge, he's going to get himself out of trouble early, Tim, and just lead it through.
Yeah, it's a good start, isn't it? It's going to be a decent split here. They're going through at about the 4-minute pace, right on, I think, going through the 400. So Buckeridge is starting to really stretch them a little bit. McMinamy in good position there, then Hadfield, the Sherman tank sitting nicely there in 4th position.
Yeah, so Buckeridge there, still going to stay comfortable. The rest of these boys haven't moved too much. That pace was pretty hot through the first 400, so they know that at least they're going to be on around that mark to be the next 5 fastest if they keep this up. So Buckeridge, geez, they probably all owe him something at the end of this if he can drag them all through. So he's looking incredibly comfortable. McMinamy behind him there, Hadfield on the inside, and so too our Old Zavarians athlete, still sitting beautifully there, comfortably on the outside is Benjamin Sherman. So Buckeridge, he has not faltered since he hit the front, and he's going to lead this big pack through. So we have a pack of about 8. If these boys can hold on, they're going to be able to possibly get through. Taj Davies, the one sitting on the back of that, so a good athlete in his own right, but Buckeridge, he's still a few metres in front of this pack, and he's going to come around through the 800 here, so a little bit slower this lap, but nothing too drastic. They're going to come through at about 2:08, Tim, so they've still got the pace on.
Yeah, the one I'm watching at the moment is De Conza. He's sitting very comfortably there at the back of that pack, and I think he's just watching what's going on and counting the numbers. So he's 6th, 5 go through automatically. But as we said, Buckeridge setting a good pace here, so I think most of the boys up there, if they just hold on over this remaining stages of the 1500, they'll all be going through. So De Conza probably just looking to economise what he needs to do. Same too with Sherman. I think he's quite happy to sit there at the moment. De Conza's just going to come alongside him. So Buckeridge just striding beautifully out front, Mitch. It's a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, it is really nice racing, Tim. These boys have actually worked incredibly well together. No one's sort of been fighting for it. They've all just benefited off each other. So they're going to let Buckeridge lead them through at the bell. Now we see De Conza sort of slip into that 5th place position. You're right. He was just watching, keeping an eye on it almost. Hadfield as well has had the benefit of sitting in that 3rd place position. So too Benjamin Collins of Knox. So the 2 Knox boys sitting there comfortably. Buckeridge, well, he's maintained that few metre lead for about the whole duration of this race. 3:14, has a little look around to see who's with him, and this field of 5 in front is going to be incredibly comfortable and hard to catch. De Conza now, Tim, he might make a move around to try and get himself a little bit further up there, but Buckeridge, he's looking good out in front.
You just saw that effortless movement from De Conza to go from 5th to 3rd and just sit behind McMinamy at the moment. I think they don't mind if Doug takes this one out. He'll just set the pace nicely. Nice little hit out, actually. It can be a good strategy leading into the final. Just have that little blast out, have the rest, and then come back for a finals race where they will be in a pretty competitive under-20 men's final. So Doug Buckridge led all the way. DeConza just drifting forward. The Knox boys having a bit of a battle. I think that's for pride only because they're automatically through no matter what. So Buckridge, DeConza, McMinamy, Hadfield, Collins. Then it's going to be Sherman. I just can't quite see the clock. Jazz D, I'll get out the way. It's about that 4-9. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think Sherman will be through as well. Also Hughes wasn't far off him. Then Davies. As we see Darren Dial returning to racing. Great to see him back. Former Victorian champion. First race back, I believe. And good to have Darren Dial back in the fold. And just finishing off now will be our runner here, Lachlan Stewart from Old Scotch. So let's get behind Lachlan as he finishes off the 1500, and we'll go down to Ross Cunningham for the next of our presentations.
Thanks, Tim Crosby. Presentation now for the under-18 men's 1500 metres. Receiving the bronze medal with a time of 4:04.97 from Glen Huntly Athletics, Logan Janetsky. And receiving the silver medal with a time of 4:03.55 from Athletics Essendon, Archie Noakes. And our gold medalist with a time of 4:01.73 from Knox Athletic Club, Jai Hadfield. It's a fine performance there from Jai, also from Archie and Logan in the under-18 men's 1500 metres.
Tim Dimitri, you can move up here if you want, unless you're happy down on track. Copy that. So next event will be the final event on the track for this evening. It'll be the first of two heats of the men's open 1500 metres. So we saw an exciting women's championship race over 1500 taken out by Abby Caldwell earlier. We now move to the men's open, and there will be heats, as we would hope, for this prestigious event. Heat 1 of 2, there are 15 starters. Top 5 to proceed through with the next 5 fastest times to the final of 15. In Station 1, representing Knox, Daniel Malone. In 2, from Western Athletics, Liam Cashin. In 3, from Knox, William Collins. In 4, from Doncaster, Caleb Sin. In 5, from Diamond Valley, AV number 1 bib holder, Jared Clifford. In 6, Bronson Stevens, the recently crowned the Victorian 5,000 metre champion, Thomas Thorpe. In 7, from Deakin, Jacob Reed. In 8, from Old Melburnians, Alex Gruen. In 9, from St Stephen's, Aidan Duboisson. In 10, from Box Hill, Nicholas Baggett. 11, from Glen Huntly, Jason Clayton. In 12, from Box Hill, Andre Waring. 13, from Glen Huntly, Edward Marks. In 14, from Shepparton Athletics, Glenn McMillan. And in 15, from Western Athletics, Nathan Pearce. 15 starters, heat 1 of 2, men's open, 1500.
On your marks.
So 15 starters here. Would expect Clifford to try and get out to a good start here, but I think it might be Cashin who's going forward early. Jacob Reed going with him as well, then settling in the yellow colours of Deakin. And it looks like Cashin, as they settle, might be the leader. We've seen him pace so well. Now we've got a bolter going around the outside. So let's try and pick who that is, Mr. Mitch Dyer.
Yeah, I'll try and get a read on that as he comes by.
I think it's Glenn
me now,
Maxwell,
Tim.
actually, from Shepparton.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think it is our Shepparton athlete who's going to be the one to lead these boys out. So Glenn McMillan, he might be the one to really test some of these boys. So as you mentioned, it's a class field, but Glenn McMillan's not scared. He's going to lead him through. Cashin Pierce tucked in nicely. Baggett on the outside. Jared Clifford on the inside. Watch out for Andre Waring. He's incredibly fit. And sitting behind him there, Tim, is our recent 5,000 metre state champion, Tom Thorpe. So this is a class field as these boys come through. 60 seconds on the clock, so 3:45 pace. Glenn McMillan more than happy to lead them through, but Cashin now going to bridge that gap. Pierce behind him. Now we see Jared Clifford beautifully on the inside. Baggett, Waring now moves around, so it's all happening right now, Tim.
Yeah, 60-second opening lap. I'd love to know what Glenn's seed time is coming in. I don't think it's a 3:45, but Cashin now is content just to sit off the back of McMillan. I think they're going to start to move past as a bunch. You can see Clifford on the inside on the rails, so as they start to move around, I think he might get himself into a little bit of bother here. Let's see how Jared can navigate that. Top 5 to go through as we see Waring start to move forward and take the lead. So it's Waring, Cashin, Reed, Pierce in a good position, then Clayton, then Baggett to the outside. Clifford has navigated himself well into that next position, then Thorpe and Gruen, a little bit of pushing and shoving there, Mitch.
Yeah, they are starting to push and shove, so good to see Jared Clifford tucked nicely on the inside there. Nathan Pierce striding out in front of him. Andre Waring, really good tactical move there to get himself out of the danger. 2:02 on the clock, so he didn't lose a lot of time either. Cashin the one though, Tim. He hasn't had to move a lot at all. He's been able to sit in nicely behind there. Watch Nathan Pierce through the middle of the pack, and so too in St. Stephen's, Tom Thorpe, our recent 5,000 metre champion. Nick Baggett on his outside, but Andre Waring, he made the smart move. 600 metres to go. He starts to stretch it out now. Our world record holder, Jared Clifford, sitting in 5th place there. So watch these boys move as now it becomes a kicking race, Tim.
Yeah, there's a lot of players with big reputations still in the mix to get that top 5, but I think the pace has been pretty solid, Mitch, so you might see a few come out of this unless that next heat goes really quick. You can see Clifford just charging, just getting in the slipstream there of Reed, who's moving very nicely. He's wearing one lap out, leads the way. Gee, the question's now being asked of Clayton as well. He's got to pick himself up and get back on to Pierce.
Yeah, and so Nathan Pierce, he's really got to move if he wants to break this spirit of the men behind him. Andre Waring, though, he's looked incredibly comfortable. He made that smart move to be able to move around, and that's exactly what he did. Now watch Jared Clifford. He was in the shotgun position, and now he moves right out. So Waring in front, Clifford, Cashin, so too on the outside of them there is our old Melburnians athlete, moving incredibly comfortable in 4th position. So in 5th, it's Nathan Pierce. He starts to gap the field a little bit, so he might be safe there. But as I say that, our Glenn Huntley man starts to hunt him down, but Nathan Pierce probably being drawn closer to this front pack, then closer to the one behind him. Andre Waring, he's going to be the one to take them down. Jared Clifford tactically moved around beautifully there, Tim, so he's found himself in 2nd position there. The one coming behind them is going to be Alex Gruen. So too, Cashin does enough. Pierce is going to earn his spot in the final there. Now comes Jason Clayton and the rest of these boys as they come down. Baggett greets it now, so too does Tom Thorpe. But really smart tactics at the front of that race, Tim, to get themselves in that top 5.
Yeah, some good racing there, Mitch. We sort of didn't count on Gruen too much there. As we see Maxwell coming through, Malone will round out the field. But Gruen got bronze in the Victorian Mole Championship, so we must show some respect there. About 3:55, I think, might be that mark that they're looking at. 3:47 thereabouts the winning time. Not a bad heat winning time in a VIX. So that's a good, honest opening race. Race 2 now has to match it. And let's go right there. We've got 14 starters in the second of our Open 15 heats, and they are in Station 1 from Glen Huntley, Adam Spencer. In 2 from Old Scotch, Edward Bysher. In 3 from Glen Huntley, Tom McFarlane. Kai Davies from Mornington Peninsula in 4. In 5, Nick Fiddler from Wendouree. 6, Matt Hussey from Western Athletics. In 7, Tim Logan from Diamond Valley. Patrick Matthews from Keilor St Bernard's in 8. Joshua Collins St Kevin's in 9. Harrison Carr, Old Scotch, 10. Jack Hynam from Glen Huntley in 11. Sam Williams, Melbourne University in 12. Juan Chow Louis from Doncaster in 13. And Michael Martello, Athletics, Essendon in 14. 14 starters, heat 2 of 2, men's open 1500.
On your marks.
So yet again, Mitch, it'll be interesting to see who takes the lead. I wouldn't be surprised if Spencer starts to edge forward. Hussey will try and get himself in good position, but Juan Chow Louis is the man.
Yeah, Yuan Chow Louis loves to lead these races out, Tim. He's no stranger to putting his foot on the gas and seeing who's going to follow along. So these boys, much more strung out than our first heat. It always seems to work that way. They're either going to go for it from the start or they're going to wait around and see if they can qualify. So these boys are a little bit more strung out. We'll see how fast Yuan Chow Louis is able to test them. So they're going to make their way past me now. We'll be able to get a better read on these hip numbers. I say a lot of red, so some old Scotch boys making their way through. Tucked in just on the outside there is going to be Patrick Matthews. So too Adam Spencer, and nicely there as well, Sam Williams. Don't forget about Matty Hussey as well in there. Tim Logan tucked in behind that. And our old Scotch boys, they're going to be moving around too. So Harrison Carr, he's on the outside of Tim Logan. They're going to come through 61, Tim, so not too much slower, only a second than our first heat, and nicely strung out.
Yeah, it's a good race at the moment, and they are pegging towards those times. Remember, it's about 3:55 and under for those who don't automatically qualify is what they're really looking for, maybe 53:54. So it is still Juan Chow Louis just moving nicely at the moment. You can see the tall figure of Spencer just happy to sit in that third position. In the middle of them is Patrick Matthews, who's had a bit of a blast-out season this year, the young man from Keilor St Bernard's. So it is Juan Chow Louis, as we said. Harrison Carr's looking quite strong at the moment. Sam Williams is just prowling along there in the Melbourne Uni uniform, and Hussey's on the rails.
Yeah, our Victorian mile champion and Matty Hussey there, sitting beautifully on the inside of Yuan Chow Louis. A great man to watch is Harrison Carr. He always seems to be able to come late, so he's sitting there on the outside of Tim Logan of Diamond Valley. It's going to be Yuan Chow Louis, though. He's still leading them through. Just on his outside there, Tim, is our Glenn Huntley athlete, 1 of 3, so I'll have to get his hip number as he comes back around, but 2:07, so they've slowed it down a little bit. They've really left everybody in this race right now. Tim Logan got a really good kick on him from the mid side of the field. Now we see Harrison Carr move around. Moves being made everywhere, and as they come around me, Tim, I think this pack might be a bit different than it is now.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a different type of race here. Williams is moving nicely into position there and following Spencer. Juan Chow Louis now stuck on the rails. We've got the two old Scotch runners going side by side at the moment, Harrison Carr being one of those, and also Baisha. So with that drop in pace, it's really up to these boys to be top 5 here. 6, 7 and 8 may not make it. So Logan, also Fiddler. Then we've got, I think that is Collins from St Kevin's in next position. So, gee, 6 out front at the moment. I'm not going to pick it yet, Mitch.
Yeah, and that man in 6th position also is Matty Hussey, Tim. So he is our Victorian mile champion. He might be able to make his way around. As I mentioned, watch out there for the two old Scotch boys. They've been working really well together all year, Harrison Carr and Baisha. But look at Hussey now. He moves into 4th. Carr goes to 5th. Yuan Chow Louis in 6th. The two men out in front are looking incredibly comfortable in Williams and Spencer, so they might even be able to move away. Matty Hussey knows what he's doing. He needs to qualify. Our two old Scotch athletes, as they come around here now, though, Tim, it's going to be Williams, Spencer. They seem to be in the clear, and here comes the congestion now. So we start to see Harrison Carr on the outside. Hussey has a look around to see if he's safe. Yuan Chow Louis is not done with yet. They're going to want to keep moving, these boys. Yuan Chow Louis flying on the outside. Throw a blanket over this right now. Yuan Chow Louis just going to miss out, but 3:53 on the clock there, Tim. Tim Logan comes through now as well in about 3:58. So as these boys work their way through, there's going to be a few nervous waits to see who's in that top 5 next fastest times.
Yeah, I think Nick Fiddler might be the nervous one there because he's going to be right on the cusp, I think. Might get through, but certainly that top 6, I reckon, are pretty safe. That was a good finish, Mitch. That was a really nice pick-up and good championship or heat racing. So I think that's it for the night. So thank you once again to all of our AV or Victorian officials. Big thank you to the club helpers. I haven't had to put any calls to stress out that we need helpers here, there and everywhere. So that's a good sign that the clubs are getting behind Athletics Victoria at these events. Great to be back at Lakeside. Big thank you to all the spectators, the families, the coaches and the competitors. Good to be back at Lakeside, and thank you Mitch Dyer for the co-commentary. So thanks to our live stream guests as well. Hope you've enjoyed day one, week one, here at the Victorian Track and Field Championships for 2021. We will be back tomorrow morning to restart the action, and then going through to Sunday afternoon. Then week two next week starts on Friday. So we welcome you all back. So keep enjoying the coverage via Athletics Victoria.